Okay, let's see who skipped yard work today for the summer drawing session.
All right, everybody, welcome. In the room right now is Timmy Trayvon, myself, I'm John, Bill Cobe, Vanessa Del Rey, and Ray Bonilla. And I don't know, I can't see past that. Is there anybody else showed up, Timmy?
That's the crew right now.
Okay.
It's a strong group.
It's a very strong group, and there'll be more joining us. Let's go ahead. I got a few things to say before we get started. As always, I'll try to be as brief as possible. But Timmy and I are working really hard right now. Timmy's building classes out. We're kind of busting our butts, and we're trying to get everybody lined up for this weekend. Our next semester starts. We have a few more spots in all of our classes. We officially start this Saturday on the 18th. We have programs, an illustration program and a concept design program or concept art program. Our illustration program has 4 classes. I like to explain it this way. Our process, skill, and craft class that John Foster and Audrey Benjaminson teach, they teach separate classes. They both teach the same class. And that is the physical aspect of putting a picture together. You learn about the process of working with an art director, making a picture for a client, all the steps you go through, your thumbnailing, your value studies, a little bit of ideation to get you started, and then some craft, some simple color perspective drawing, some things to make you a better picture maker. The second class is the cognitive side of putting a picture together. It is the true ideation process. Edward Kinsella teaches that class. It's a brilliant class. I hate to use brilliant and Edward Kinsella together, but he truly delivers an amazing class. And it's a really great journey on helping you develop not only how to identify problems and solve problems in the industry, it really is about developing yourself. The third class is a portfolio class where we start our students, we aim them towards a particular part of the industry where they're developing an exit portfolio relating to a particular aspect of the industry, whether it be a publishing industry or the editorial world. But it's identifying your audience and who you're developing your portfolio for. And our last class, that class is taught by Dale Stefanos and myself. The last class is our career development class, which is an extension of the portfolio class, where you're learning to develop your website, your social media, how to pursue clients, all of the industry things that needed to get your career started. And again, of course, it's with Sterling Hunley. The speakers for this semester, Ashley Lovett, Terry Brown, Dustin DeArnault, and Thomas Blackshear. Thomas is a guest speaker that is speaking to the whole school. He'll be speaking to the concept artists also. The concept art program laid out very much the same way. I'll breeze through that. We're offering 3 classes in the concept program right now. Intro to concept design, which is character, creature, and environment. They're treated on their own, and you're learning the basic design elements of those 3 things. The second class, the first class is taught by John Neimeister. The second class is taught by Vivian Costi. And Vivian is going to help you put those 3 design elements together. Leigh Kurowitz is teaching the third class, which is world building. And you're identifying a part and a genre or a particular company that you'll be pursuing through a world building brief and developing your own design for. Wow, that was a lot of talking. Sorry.
Well, I'll wrap it up. You got to enroll now. Tomorrow is the last day. Get in under the wire.
Yep. If you're going to do it now. We've had unbelievable success with our students. I'm very proud of what we're doing. The program really is about helping you get started and developing your career. July 18th is our kickoff. And tonight we're in Thursday night drawing. Drawing is a part of everything that we do. It will always, I think it's something that's going to become a mainstay, that we're going to keep doing it. I'm going to just briefly go through a few. George Pratt, people that have joined us along the way, that have helped us get this thing up and running, that consistently join us. George Pratt, Chris Payne, myself, Bill Cobe, Audrey Benjaminson, Don Kilpatrick, Dale Stefanos, Brent Watkinson, John Foster, Ashley Lovett, Gil Ashby, Vanessa Del Rey, Hector Casanova, Ray Bonilla. Hey, Ray, I updated your pictures. I felt obligated to. I really liked it, especially the one on the right. I think it's beautiful painting.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Really, really beautiful. So tonight, we're going to be drawing with Wade Brother reference again. And a big thank you to the Wade Brothers for allowing us to do that. Timmy, I want you to say a few things here.
Yeah, this is our first, what I would call ad read. Can everybody see my screen that I'm sharing? You don't see?
Yep, we see it.
Cool. All right, right on. All right, quarantine. It's better with plants. So the Wade Brothers they're sponsored. They're giving us access to this amazing library of photography. They're extremely generous friends of ours. John and I have been quarantining much longer than the rest of the world with our online school. The Wade Brothers, they always invited me into their studio. They've been really awesome, friends and supporters of everything we do. They have a lot of different businesses that they've explored, and this is a really cool one, Paradise Garden Club. And I was wrong. You don't have to be local to check out some of the awesome stuff that they have. So I highly recommend, if you are interested, go to their website. I'll share the link to it, but they've got some really cool swag, and these hats are awesome. I highly recommend them. This is really cool. It's their Paradise Snake Kit. It's all really affordable, and they've got all this cool stuff. So please go check it out. It's we're hoping they'll let us keep using their photography, and I think they're going to help us cook up some pretty cool stuff. So if you want to support us, you can support the Wades and go to Paradise Gardens. So anyways.
That's a good way of saying that, Timmy.
Yeah. Yeah. So quarantine, it's better with plants.
All right. Well, tonight, Bill Cobe is going to be drawing first tonight, followed by Ray Bonilla, then Vanessa Del Rey, and then hopefully somebody else will come into the room. And if not, I'll do the last pose.
It is. It's become like Mr. Rogers, the mailman. This is great. Okay, cool. So we're going to kick things off. We're starting with Bill. And Bill, if you go to the website, you'll see the photo. I'm talking to Bill, but I guess I'd say everybody. If you go to the website, audience, you'll see that we've got the photo updated, our first photo. Cool. It's the young man doing a backflip. There's two individuals in the photo. Everybody, if you go to the website, you'll see there's a banner at the top that says "Join us for live drawing." It's a big yellow banner. And cool. And then if you also, I'm just going to go ahead. I'll save everybody the stress of it, and I'll type in the link. But yeah, we're going to kick things off, and I'm going to head to Bill's studio. Just give me 1 second. But other than that, another thing is, if you're a veteran attendee, you can help me out by sharing a link for the members. But yeah, we'll get things cooking. Awesome to
Okay.
have you here, Bill, and thanks for being the first one
Oh, no problem.
to being the first one to dive in.
Like the kids diving in. You know, I have to hand it to everybody who drew the picture of the kid flipping upside down from the back.
Uh-huh.
I tried to draw that kid 3 or 4 times, and I could not get it right. It was. I've got one that's sort of right, but maybe I'll show it later on. But so that's part of the reason why I picked this one. I like both of the kids. I just I'm drawing it as a vertical, as you can see.
Mm-hmm.
No, he's sort of more of a square. So originally in my memory, his legs were sticking more straight off, but I'm going to sort of put him at the top of the page. I like the idea of giving him some height on the page, and because this is kind of tricky, I'm getting a weird echo. My hearing aid. So because this is kind of a tricky pose for me, at least, I'm going to sort of figure out where his head is, you know, and sort of where his legs are, you know. And I don't usually map things out. Usually I just kind of wing it. And but his head, to me, his head's kind of over here, and his legs are there. Hang on one second. Okay. So, and I'm going to sort of start with his arm because it's at the top.
Bill, what you drawing with?
I'm just drawing with New Pastel.
Oh, cool.
And these, I might have bought these from you guys at the Illustration Academy. These are actually the official, on your little handout, I think the official Illustration Academy colors. I've got,
I didn't know we had official colors.
I don't know, it's on a PDF.
Okay.
There's like a PDF with like a blue and a peach color and tan color, but there was like a picture of these colors. So
That's funny.
I don't know if they're official or not. They just, but you can see sort of I've started with his chest here.
They're official now.
They're official now, yeah, just because I said it. So I like to start with, you know, when I'm drawing in public, when I'm sketching, and especially if I'm using a pen, I sort of use one line and I just kind of stick with that. And then if it doesn't work, I'll draw a second line. But I was looking a lot, when I was teaching some drawing and painting last year, I was looking a lot at Michelangelo's drawings. And the one thing I noticed about his drawings is that he would draw sort of a general shape of a line, like a leg, and then refine it to a more specific shape. And so if you look at some of his drawings, you'll see multiple lines that define the shape of the figure. And after the shape's defined, then he goes in and does all the beautiful rendering, you know, and cross-hatching that he's sort of known for. But if you look at a lot of those drawings, you'll see multiple outlines and then sort of one where he's kind of nailed it. Now you can already see, like, I've already blown where the head is supposed to be by not paying attention and just, you know, trying to explain things too much. So I'm going to start over.
Crazy to think that Michelangelo didn't want anyone to see those sketches, you know, those drawings, and yet that's what it's kind of what I remember him.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
His story is that he was, his assistants would catch him burning trunk loads of drawings
Jeez.
because he didn't want anybody to think that if people thought that he had worked hard, he was scared that people didn't think that he was a genius.
That's great. And here I am drawing on the internet, so.
Yeah.
Can you imagine him on the internet?
Oh my God. Yeah, he would. I could see the tweets already.
Oh my Lord.
If you have one of my drawings, please delete it off your computer.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I botched the whole story. There's a whole story about how his assistant would rush in. You know, he saw a fire and he rushed in, and then he saw Michelangelo burning his sketches, and he says, "What are you doing?" And Michelangelo says, "If people knew how hard I worked, then they wouldn't think I was a genius." And that was an old I heard that from Glenn Villapoo. Like I read a. Are you familiar with Glenn Villapoo by any chance?
I know who he is.
Yeah, and so I read somewhere he was telling somebody's like eyewitness account of him telling that story, and
Jeez.
I thought like, wow, what a cool story. Probably not true, but what a cool story anyway. But I went to the Michelangelo exhibit at the Met when it was touring. And when it showed up at the Met, they had a bunch of his drawings, and what did you know? There was a little placard with that story, and not only did it happen, it happened multiple times. And so, can you imagine how many Michelangelo drawings we would have had had he not burned so many?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
I'm realizing it's really hard to draw people when their heads are upside down.
Yeah, who picked this pose?
Yeah,
Probably John.
No, I chose it because it would be.
No, no.
I chose it because it would be hard.
Yeah.
But this might turn out to be a very bad drawing. So
That's okay. You're going to have company.
Yeah. Now, full disclosure, I could have cheated and just rotated the reference so it was right,
I thought
a little
about
bit
that.
easier to draw. But I said, I need practice doing this.
I'm drawing him upside down.
I'm just a mere human, though, John. I need all the help I can get.
That's okay. People already know I'm not a genius, so I don't need to. I don't have a reputation to protect.
Oh, Bill, you had me fooled.
Yeah, Bill, and you can create whatever mythology of yourself that you want when you write your autobiography.
That's right.
It's one of the big reasons why I love, besides being working alongside so many awesome artists. I like doing these things is because you never know what you're going to get, and most of the time it's stuff that like I would never paint in my own work, use for my own work, but it's very refreshing.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way. And
Yeah, the first pose that we did last week, the one you did,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
That thing messed with me.
It was difficult, man.
I do
was right
tons
there.
of landscape, but my rule is with landscape is I never put any figures in it. And it was like an out of body experience for me drawing it.
I broke rule number one.
what was the first post from last week?
Oh, the woman or the figure, I guess it was a woman, a figure in that suit that didn't have hands.
Oh yeah,
I'm not sure that it was a woman, but it was the rock climber for the Paralympics, correct?
So I couldn't tell
Yes.
if it was male or female.
Yeah.
Didn't matter.
I like that one just because there was just the sleeves. There were no hands. There was like no anatomy to deal with.
Yeah.
Well,
And then we found out that the person actually didn't have any hands.
The person what?
Yeah,
Well,
well,
we did zero research on the photo in advance. That was my
yeah. So
my fault.
Timmy forgot to tell us that the person actually
I
in real
forgot to
life
learn that.
didn't have.
Yeah. So
that's Timmy being good to me because I'm the
Yeah.
one who chose the photo. So
yeah, John chose the photo.
Uh.
But that being said, I think it was a lesson in real time on do your homework for everybody in the crowd.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's actually that whole photo series. If you go to there, I'll send a link to that whole photo series. It's for the Paralympics. It's a really cool project they did. And there's actually, I believe there was a film crew from what's the British production company?
Like a BBC or
no, not that obvious, right?
oh.
Come on, no, I'm not that bad. Yeah, you're like I'm gonna take this host gig away from me. No, I'll send it to everybody. I think it's whatever. I'll send it to everybody because there's a video that this other crew directed that was like running while they were doing the stills, and it's an amazing production. Really cool.
So where was that photo taken?
Oh man, Bill, I have no idea. I'm gonna do some homework right now in real time so we can learn a bit.
The story reminds me of the John Krakauer Mount Everest story. Just, the different film crews and stuff climbing the mountain. And I don't know if anybody's read that book.
I have not, but it sounds familiar.
It's a good book. I read it years and years ago, and saw a movie about it. So you can see kind of like I'm adjusting. I drew a line for where the shorts are, and now I'm redrawing that line. I've got it in a couple places because I'm adjusting things as I go. I'm also working on the legs because they're a lot easier to draw than that upside down head. So I figure by the time I get there, I'll be much better.
That's a good idea, Bill. I should have just cropped the picture so it was just the legs.
But I do like that part of the drawing. It's got a nice feeling to it and a nice looseness. I also like the hand in the photo, the one that's coming toward you, because it doesn't look like a hand, and it's one of those things that's really difficult to draw. I think it's difficult to draw.
Well, it's all hard, difficult for me. So I'm right there with you. I had a teacher in grad school by the name of Bill Sanchez, and
I had Bill.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah.
Oh, wow! Awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
Tell me your Bill Sanchez story. I love Bill.
Oh man, what a character! Probably one of the most one of those artist type of people. Like, he would say like how every year he would draw something that he wasn't good at or he didn't know how to draw. And he would pick one thing and just draw that for the entire year. And he was just like filled with energy, and he was like, yeah, one day I don't know how to draw ships, so I decided to just draw ships. Now I know how to draw ships. And
exactly. Yeah, that's basically. So I had him in the late '80s. Okay.
Wow.
So and so the funny thing is though that in the late '80s, the Miami Vice culture was really strong. So Bill had this like white, kind of Miami Vice jacket. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. So, well, this drawing is really messed up. He would do an illustration job, and then he would say, you know, every time I do a job, I buy myself something. So he like comes in with this jacket that he bought himself. You know, that was this beautiful white, but you know, Miami Vice-ish jacket, and yeah, into a drawing class where everybody's using charcoal and stuff. So.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, he was a good guy. I had him. I had a really great artist named Sandy Spidell. She posts a lot of gorgeous drawings and paintings on Instagram and Facebook.
So you went to the Academy of Art?
I did. Yeah.
I don't remember you. Do I remember you telling me that? I don't even remember. I know you had Baron, but I don't know. Was that at the Academy though?
Yeah, it was.
Okay.
That was actually the reason I went to the Academy, is because he was there.
Ah, got it. Okay.
If he hadn't been there, I wouldn't have gone. Not because there's anything wrong with it, but just because I was, you know, I had a list of illustrators whose work I liked, and I wanted to study.
Totally.
You know, and everybody else was on the East Coast, or not teaching, or both. And it was either that or School of Visual Arts, and those are the two that I wanted to go to. So,
right.
But it was a very, the people that took Baron were very, it was like you were treated like kind of an outcast in a way.
Right.
Because what they were teaching at the time I was there, you know, the work that they were showing at the time I was there was great work, but it was also going out of fashion.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't relevant to what illustration was becoming. Yeah. And they taught a lot of techniques, but not a lot of content. Now the graduate program, I think, is very different, and I can't speak for what it was like. It's like now,
right?
Because my friend Gary Amaro, who's probably drawing with us tonight, I think he teaches.
Oh yeah,
he teaches in the graduate program.
Yeah,
and,
totally.
Bill Ma.
Oh yeah. Yep.
And I actually taught for that program for, I think, a semester or two. Chuck Todd was one of my students there.
Oh, cool.
That's how Chuck and I met.
Oh, okay. Wow. Yeah, Bill. Gary wasn't one of my teachers, but a lot of my friends who were in the sequential art major track took Gary.
Yeah.
Quite a bit, yeah. And so, and nothing but awesome things to say about him.
Gary's great. Have you seen his sketchbook location drawings?
I haven't. No, you know what? No, I don't think I have. I've seen the drawings that he's done, and he's posted illustration isolation, making me look bad, you know, on a daily basis. So.
Well, check out his sketchbook drawings. Gary's probably in the room, like. You know.
Yeah, sorry, Gary. Didn't mean to put you on there.
Yeah, he's great. I mean, the thing is that he's a brilliant draftsman, and you know, he draws way better than I do. So, you know, which it's not hard to do. I mean, maybe it's not. Maybe that's not true. He draws really well, incredibly well. No, I think I draw okay, except for this kid with the upside down head. So I'm avoiding the face.
Yeah, probably something I should do too.
And actually, I think it doesn't look so bad. I mean, it's got some nice energy to it. And
yeah, I think yours is looking great, though. I'm just looking at yours right now.
I'm I mean,
Yeah, it's awesome. Just gave me an idea.
if there's a way I can just get part of the face in and without completely nailing the identity. Years and years ago, one of my oldest friends, and I don't talk to him enough, is Tim Bauer. And
Oh yeah,
Tim
cool
is,
show.
I learned more. I almost learned more from Tim than I did from teachers because he had his act together. And but years ago, Tim did this series of large paintings, and it was all these figures, and they were incredible. I mean, they were large. They were like 60 by 70, 40 by 50.
Wow.
I mean, they were huge paintings, and he had all these wonderful figures in them, but he didn't have any hands on them. And he said he felt that when he put the hands on, I mean, he could draw hands, he was fine. He just said that when he put the features on them, it tied it to a specific gesture. It's funny I remember this because I don't remember a lot. He was telling me about some conversation we had about music, and I'm like, I don't remember that at all. But he was saying that it tied it to a specific gesture, and I can totally see that. The minute you nail something down and certain aspects, then it ties it to a specific person or specific character. And yeah, the upside down head's messing me up, so that's okay. You're not from San Francisco, are you, Ray?
No, I'm from. I was born in Queens, where I think Vanessa. Vanessa. I think lives in Queens now. I think. Yeah, and then I live in Buffalo now. So,
Oh, that's cool.
the great city of Buffalo.
I've heard they have a good museum there.
They do, yeah. It's called the Albright Knox, and it's great. It's got one of the best, if you like, a lot of like modern art. It's got one of the strongest modern art collections, I think, and outside of like the Guggenheim and stuff. So,
Oh, that's cool.
yeah, they have a bunch of Charles Hawthorne and Edwin Dickinson paintings too. That's big time ones.
I'd go to see those.
Oh man, yeah, and they just they're expanding now. They're building this huge expansion, and I see a former. I think I flashed. There's a former Buffalonian or someone from Buffalo. I guess is in the chat. Yeah, so they're doing a huge expansion so that they can show a ton of the artwork that they have just sitting in storage. So I forgot which Dickinson. I have. Maybe I'll shoot you the image that I took of it. Yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah, please do. I love that.
It was one of those like drop dead, just oh man, so good. Are we out of time, John?
No, that was George Pratt messaging me.
What's the excuse today?
Well, he knows even if he's not here, he can still harass me by texting while I'm trying to draw. He can still get the best of me.
How much time is left, John?
I'll answer that in a minute. Let me finish.
Well, I'm not asking out of. I'm just curious. Is Ray up next? Do we know what our next photo is?
Yes,
The
I am
young
up
kid?
next. The young
Yep.
kid, yeah.
All right on.
I'm thinking I should have drawn the older man with the hat. That's
Hey, with we'll why don't we do that as our last one? You know, we can do an around the world one.
there you go.
Yeah, I was thinking about doing that one too,
Yeah.
but it's one of those things that are like, oh yeah, that's the one that I would totally do because it's got the nice light and blah blah blah. So I thought, maybe I give myself a
Well,
challenging one.
I chose this one because I knew it would be harder, and it is. So
Yeah.
um,
Yeah, there was a second version of this
2 minutes,
last
Jimmy.
week. 2 minutes. Okay, cool. And when I was painting it, we were talking about Robert Cunningham.
oh yeah.
It just reminded me of that.
Yeah, he's okay.
Yeah.
He's okay.
John, I was thinking about it when we were talking about him last week. I was thinking about maybe taking I have that like the step-by-step like kind of thing that he did. It was like the publication was like advertising illustration step by step or something, and
Yeah.
they featured him, and just having it out and working alongside it. So use it as like a helpful guide. But I thought to myself, that would probably make me too depressed, so I didn't want to bum out the stream. So the guy's too good.
He's very good.
Awesome. Time's up. Cool. Anyways, that's what I've got. It's got some things I like. Not my best drawing. You can see areas I struggled with. But here, I'll turn the, you can see it better. If I were to go back, like if this was for a job or something like that, I would turn the reference upside down, turn the picture upside down, and fix everything that's problematic in it.
That's the
I like it, Bill.
Thanks.
Cool.
If you weren't trying to put on a show for a bunch of people.
Yeah.
This is great. Well, so if this is your first time drawing with us, I know a few of you, I see quite a few new names joining us tonight. Hope you're drawing along, first of all. And if you are, please share your work. You can share it on Instagram or on Facebook. Facebook, join the Facebook group. Myself or Alice will make sure you're in there and accepted. And if Instagram is more your speed, please join us there, and you just use the hashtag illustration isolation and just tag @visualartspassage. But share your work, because it's a really fun part of this is getting to see what everybody else is working on. So please do.
And then a rule for everybody new drawer, please don't outdraw the people we're featuring, especially myself.
Yeah, and that rule, John, doesn't that rule change based on if our
You can only draw really
if
bad.
our panelists show up? Because I felt like when we were getting seeing who was going to be available tonight, it was going to be one of those. Hey, is there a bass player in the crowd? like yeah. No, we got a good team though.
I don't mind being one of the on the alternative break-in only in case of an emergency list.
No, you're not in case. You're not in case of emergency. I'm trying to think of like the best like Henry Rollins' Black Flag. You know, you're a replacement,
Right.
but everybody knows you.
Right.
But when people think of Black Flag, they think of Henry Rollins. Or yeah, I don't know. I probably just offended some people, some Black Flag fans.
Have you heard Henry Rollins' "I Hate You Too"?
I haven't.
Oh my God, it's on my iTunes playlist, and it came on.
Really?
It's hilarious.
I just watched the first. I watched about 75% of the Beastie Boys story last night.
Oh, cool.
It's so interesting. Highly recommend it. It's
What's
kind
it
of
called?
the Beastie Boys story.
Oh yeah.
They basically did like a live telling of their coming together, and it is interesting to hear stories from you all, especially like when Gil has attended, and he's told stories about all of the artists that he met who were kind of part of these like hubs and stuff that you'd come across these just like you're just like, wow, how is it possible that these like three amazing individuals cross paths? And you're like, I was like watching it, and you're like, wow, these three young kids, totally goofballs, happened to cross paths, but then somehow they bumped into Rick Rubin, and then you're like, what? You know, it just becomes like, you know, impossible to understand. And then from Rick Rubin, they're starting to work with like Russell Simmons, and it's just it's this mind blowing. I don't know. It's interesting. It's hard for me to process like this idea of chance. Where you're just
Didn't
wow.
they? Wasn't he like a student at Columbia or NYU, and they were like hanging out in the dorm room or something?
I believe
like
he
that?
was a student at NYU, and he was like a few years older than them. But it was really good. It's a really I felt like they owned up to like the immaturity that it was a pretty it felt like a pretty honest telling of the story, because you can imagine that there were some chapters. I mean, there was a girl Beastie Boy that not many people know about, and it's kind of a sad story. But yeah,
she was a founding member, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I saw that. That was up to that part when she left. Or they kicked her out, basically.
Yeah. I mean, that's what it seemed like. Anyways, yeah, I highly recommend it as far as like a creative journey and like learning. You know, like it's an interesting story of like who you spend your time with. I don't know. Anyways, cool. John, are we on to the next one?
I'm okay with that.
I'm gonna do a quick tour of the studios. All right, John, we're at your studio. Your screen's a little blown out. I don't know.
Here.
While you do that, I'm gonna go to Vanessa.
Okay.
Hey, Vanessa.
Nice.
Yeah.
We haven't gotten to really say hey.
Hey.
Awesome. Thanks for joining.
Sure thing. Hanging out.
And Ray. Awesome.
Does it look a little dark? Probably bring in some more lights.
I think it looks great. I feel like I'm in your studio. I
also did this off to the side. Now this is Robert Cunningham.
Oh, cool.
You did that while you did the other thing.
Yeah.
While the paint was drying.
Right.
Cool. Well, everybody, the reference photos are up. Let me double check, but they should be. If you just hit refresh. Or now if you hit refresh. It should be loading.
I just put it in the chat.
Yeah. Thanks for doing that, Bill.
No problem.
Yeah, I've got 3 screens up in front of me. It's like I'm running a headquarters. So, anyways, yeah, we're on to the next one. Ray, you're up to bat.
Okay, sounds good. Just marking off where my camera ends here.
John started the clock 10 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Yep.
I figured
7
that.
minutes left, right?
I figured that. I just need about 3, John.
All right.
3 and then 17 Timmy minutes.
We took that away from Timmy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have that power anymore, Ray. It made me feel too strong.
Yeah, I was gonna say, were you ousted or?
Yeah, it was.
Did you pull a George Washington and said, just leave?
No, it was taken. It was a hostile take there. Yeah.
So this reference is, I like it because it's got like a dual light, and I'm painting on just some paper that was just I guess toned with like a gray acrylic, and I am gonna paint. Let me see if I can paint this in full color. I'm gonna keep it simple in the spirit of Robert Cunningham. Not to say that simple means easy or fast. I'm learning that the hard way these days. But it helps me just edit down. Now, before I start, I have kind of a plan. I'm going to have essentially a warm light coming from here and a cool light coming from here. And if anybody needs me to explain what the heck that is, I will do that. Right. But I'm just going to knock in just this super dark area.
Yeah, Ray, as a distraction, I'll start asking you these technical questions. Can you explain, please explain the concept of warm and cool while you're drawing?
Oh, totally. Yeah. It's such an interesting thing. I before I went to grad school, I never painted. So, I started painting in like my early 20s essentially. And I didn't know anything, and warm light, cool light, or warm, cool colors. I read it once in a chapter and I said, yeah, I think I kind of know what that is. It's like one of those things like, it's like if somebody had asked me, have I heard of the Beatles? Like, yeah, totally. That. And so, but warm light, cool light, it's like, yeah, I didn't realize like, or warm, cool colors. I didn't realize with art, there's an application end of the understanding, and that's the most important part of it, right? So, and this is, again, anything I say, I want you to take with a grain of salt, and also know that like you can go into all this stuff, especially when it comes into color, into the minutia. And so I'm going to grossly generalize, but so you can essentially separate colors into two sections, warm and cool, right? And so there's colors associated with those names, those terms, warm and cool. And for warm colors, you can associate, it's basically a color, anything that's associated with like an orange. And that just means that it's like, if it's warmer, then it feels like it has a little bit more orange to it. And cool colors is basically anything associated with blue. And so if it's cooler, then it has a lot more blue in it. But, there's different types of blue. So it's, there's blue, green, blue, violet, red, violet. So, and the same thing goes for orange. orange, red, orange, yellow, orange. So you're just going to see an amount of that stuff in there. And when you're thinking about it in its application to nature, you always have to, well, I shouldn't say always, but it's a good idea to connect it to its roots in terms of, or view it in the same context you view form, right? And since form is really easy to see when a nice strong light source is hitting on it, then everything can tie that together. So with form, you have a light side and a shadow side. Its light side is just the side of the form that's facing towards the light. Shadow side is the side of the form that's facing away from the light. You could essentially separate form when light hits it into those two large sides. And that's what I'm doing right now. And you can get a lot, you can tell a lot about a picture when you do that. So it gives you a nice landscape or just an outlook on roadmap of how to go about approaching it. Another reason why you want to do that too is because it helps you separate your values. Now, because light is light side and shadow side are the complete opposites of each other, right? They're the yin and yang. When you think about color temperature in terms of light on form, you could think about it in the same vein. So if the light itself is warm, then the shadows are going to be cool. And if the light is cool, then the shadows are going to be warm. It's not going to be like you're blasting in, when I mean warm, you're not blasting in orange, or you could, but not in all situations. And then, or cool, you're blasting in blue. It's just an amount, right? So it's a good principle to kind of use and to keep in mind when you're painting in color, because especially when you're painting in nature, if you don't have a control of, it's hard to capture what you're seeing from nature, capture the essence of what you're seeing if you don't have the temperature in mind, because that could really confuse you. And so if you've ever had, a lot of people say, how do I, I get muddy colors all the time. How do I prevent that from happening? That's usually when that happens in terms of like a color temperature difference, because the honest truth is there really isn't such thing as a muddy color. It's just, it's a color in the wrong place, because I'm literally using like mud to paint this thing. Nothing's going to be really strong color in terms of its intensity or its chroma. And so if you look at any flesh color, that's just all mud. If you were to take a Diego Velazquez portrait and break it up, into just like color swatches, it'd just be nothing but gray puddles of mud, because they're really, really low in intensity. But if you put an inappropriate, a color that's the wrong temperature in your painting, it's going to turn up weird. It's going to look muddy, and it's going to look out of place. And that's where you're really seeing it. So if you put something cold into a field of something that's warm, and you're trying to make it feel cohesive, it'll look like it's dried, or it'll just look like dirt, instead of stuff that's in place, or like it should exist. That was a long-winded answer to your question, John. I just realized midway through that it was an answer, and it wasn't just me yapping about this.
I asked the question kind of joking around.
Oh.
just to distract you, just thinking, I knew it was going to take you a while to answer.
Yeah.
I knew he was joking around. I wasn't going to say anything.
Yeah, Bill, man, I need, this is why I like having you here, because you're always in my corner. At least I thought you were.
Well, I was in your corner, but you were doing such a good job.
Yeah, it turned out to be a really good answer.
I was just going to steal it for the next time I have to talk about color. So
Yeah. Color is one of those things I like talking about a lot because I was so bad at it when I was a student. I wasn't naturally color inclined. Or at least that's what I thought you had to kind of be, because people had told me, like, yeah, you either have it or you don't. And people were telling me stuff like true stories, like, you're probably not a colorist. You're probably more of a tonalist. So why don't you just stay away from color altogether? You're probably be better off, And it wasn't until I took a class with Bill Mon, one of my all-time mentors, at the academy, that he, where I really kind of understood, and his student Cameron Wasson, I took a color theory class with him. But Bill broke it down as if, like in 5 minutes, what had taken me years to understand, and so I like talking about color like that, because Bill would always present it as something that really wasn't that big of a deal, because it really isn't. If you know how things kind of work,
well, it's evident in your work. You can see it, like your recent paintings that you've been posting and stuff. I mean, those are all about warm and cool color relationships.
Totally. Yeah, and if you look at and him breaking it down for me, in that way, allowed me to deconstruct all of my favorite artists. And so, like, I look at that stuff and I think all that warm and cool stuff is like Bernie Fuchs, the whole line, the whole illustrators workshop, artists, and everyone from the academy, everything makes sense, when you break it down into a context like that. So it's like, because you have to ask yourself, like, I didn't know that I had to, or I never thought to ask myself, like, why use certain colors? Like we would start off like a painting with burnt umber, and he would have us do this, and he would say, and then midway through the week, he would say, why are we starting off with burnt umber? And not a single person can answer. And, oh no, there was an answer. The one person said, well, because you told us to, and he's like, yeah, but why? What if you don't have burnt umber, you ran out? Or what if you want to do something different? And then, he took it as a teaching moment to kind of teach us, like, oh, okay, well, burnt umber is a dark warm. And so, it looks really good when you have like a burnt umber wash against like this very cold, scumble of like titanium white over something, and then he would talk about that in context of like how that fed directly into like, illustration techniques and things like that, and underpaintings and loading underpaintings, because it's all the same stuff,
Yeah.
and I always appreciated that about him. So I basically I just repeat what him and Craig Nelson, they pretty much said about that stuff.
Ray, I'll tell you something funny, that my father my father gave me a color talk like it was a sex talk. He really did. It was like, we were thinking about color, and the first thing he told me about color, which I still laugh about, he goes, you got to remember, color is never going to save your painting, but it's going to screw it up a lot.
Yeah.
So it was a really funny conversation.
My God.
Oh my God. Dad of the year. Dad of the century. That's amazing.
He never gave me a sex talk.
Oh man. That's too funny.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's amazing when you start to see that how different artists kind of use color, and then some of the, I think one of the greatest like artists I've ever seen like use color, besides Bill Mon, really was Xiaoming Wu. I don't know if anybody's ever heard of Xiaoming Wu. He's a figure painter out in the West Coast, and he's incredible. But the big thing that I learned about from Xiaoming was color doesn't matter. You know, it's all about value. You know, and so like if you really most color problems, or most color problems are value problems. You know, it's like you know, it's
Evidently, my dad gave you the same talk.
yeah, I think so, vicariously to somebody else, and you could totally tell. I mean, like you take any of those, you know, we were talking about Dean Cornwell and Meet Schaefer and all those guys, you know, artists last week, but you take any of those artists and turn their stuff into black and white, and it wouldn't lose a step at all, you know. And I love the fact that like Harvey Dunn and you know those artists were painting in the turn of the century in full color, fully aware that their pieces would not be reproduced in full color. It would be reproduced in you know, in value, you know, pure like wood engraved black and white. Wild, you know. But I'm sure if Terry Brown is here, he could speak to that more than I can, for sure.
Printing back then was not great.
No.
Kinda,
What'd you say?
I said it sucked.
Yeah. I have a book called, I think it's called, it's like creative illustration, but it's not the Andrew Loomis. It's just this 19th turn of the century book. And it's crazy. It's like turn of the century book for illustrators. And it talks about all this stuff like using reference and things like that. And then there's this part about the reproduction part. And it talks about how you should always treat your engraver well, you know, because they're your link. You know, they can make you look like a king or like a pauper. And it was like recommending that they like you make sure that you take them out to dinner, you know, before they publish your piece and stuff. It's always a good idea. Treat them with respect and stuff. Like wild, you know. So much fun, you know. The things that people, you know, the things today that we don't have to worry about at all, you know. I mean, I'm a stickler for reproductions in my work, you know, how it gets reproduced in print, but it's kind of hard to take out, find the printing company that does that and take that person out to dinner. But
That's hilarious.
yeah, it's
yeah,
pretty
Ray,
funny.
we should have a conversation later. I think I might know a printer. We'll have to talk.
Yeah.
I think we could figure something out. You know, since you guys are talking about color, I don't know. Have you ever seen this book? Let me see if you're familiar with it. The audience can't see it, but let me see. It's holding it up to the screen. It's called a dictionary of color combinations. It's really great. Somebody gave it to me a few years ago.
Oh wow!
It's really awesome. It's kind of hard to find now, where it's not super expensive. But if you can get your hands on a copy, I highly recommend it.
Oh, cool! A dictionary of color mixtures. You said?
Yeah. And it's basically just like this extensive collection of like really just great. I love it. Yeah.
How does it break down the colors? Is it like Munsell or
Oh man, I've immediately stepped into a conversation and I can't.
No,
I feel like somebody just came up to me and was like bonjour, and I was like bonjour, and then it's like comment ça va? It's like I shouldn't have said bonjour. Yeah, no, yeah, it's just a really good, like I used to use it for like if I was doing like whenever we're doing like a shoot or anything, I used to reference it all the time if I was going for like a specific like, you know what I think is a great example? Like if I sit down and like watch a Tarantino movie, like
right.
or a Wes Anderson movie, I immediately can see like the palette from like a mile away.
Right.
And it just really, I think, eases that to where there's less like stabs in the dark, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Because
You
leading
see
up to before
see
having
the
like a
map.
reference like this, I'd be like, oh, I think I like that.
Right.
And try to design a scene. And I quickly learned that like if you don't have that like built into you, it's pretty hard to like, you know, if you don't have that, like I didn't have that design sense. I just don't. And so like I used references like that. I'm sure that there's versions like there's something like this online that's like AI generated amazing color palettes and whatnot. But yeah,
I've seen
so
those.
cool. Yeah,
I've seen the ones that like generate it, but you know, you're talking about the same thing I was talking about, like like having the tools to deconstruct something that you find interesting and see how it was actually made. And,
totally. Like, you know, and I'm sure that this is, I mean, this might be old news to a lot of people, but like in the like still world, but like in the film world, like if you're interested in exploring color more, like really great filmmakers, like if you look at their films, like there's a very distinct palette that often sometimes goes through the whole film. And it's really amazing. Tarantino's amazing. Like if you look at Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, that's a great
Coen Brothers, man.
Coen Brothers.
yeah,
Totally.
Coen Brothers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Brother, We're Out Thou, man. That was just amazing color piece.
So at Amelie,
Oh yeah, Amelie. I haven't seen Amelie in forever.
there's a making of that on a DVD where they show his process of storyboarding his film using Polaroids.
Really?
Oh wow, that's awesome.
And then, you know, the camera shots and where everything's going to be. And,
Hey, John, I don't mean to interrupt, Bill. How much time do we have left? I just want to engage in myself so I can know when to do my that last step of mine.
How much time do you want?
Depends on how much time I have left.
Between 7 and 6 minutes. How much time do you need?
Let's do another. Can we do 8?
Sure.
Okay.
Doesn't matter to me. I'm not drawing this post.
All right.
have you guys seen the book on Wes Anderson's movies?
No, something I should see.
It's gorgeous. It's you know, it shows a breakdown of his sets, his color palette, and then I think somebody put online his like his different color palette.
I've seen some variation of that, and then I've also seen the symmetry. The symmetry like study where it's somebody just put like a line down the middle of this video, and they just do this highlight reel of Wes Anderson, and it's like you could fold his scenes in half, like perfectly. It's unbelievable. Yeah.
Isn't it great though when you're like that, like aware of, you know, being able to deconstruct it, and then you realize how aware the, you know, and how intentional all that stuff was, you know, and then it kind of like breaks your brain because you realize that the people that you felt were good are even better than what you realized they were, you know?
Oh, there's a YouTube channel that I used to just marathon, and it's called Every Frame a Painting. Have you ever heard of that?
No, I gotta check that out when we go into.
Yep. Oh,
Okay.
Alana just messaged it. Yeah, Every
Nice.
Frame a Painting. It's so good.
Right.
Yeah, it's so great, and it's a breakdown of like why certain films are, why certain films work and why others don't, or what goes wrong and what doesn't. I think they did a breakdown of the Bohemian Rhapsody movie and like why it was like in there, in his opinion. Don't want to upset anybody. That why it was terrible, and it's really great.
What?
Yeah, I know. I don't want to upset anybody, but I guess what's really cool is he analyzes films like from he generally leaves it's usually very objective analysis in a lot of ways, which I think is really helpful in like what we're talking about.
Right, totally. That's the thing.
Yeah.
That's objective analysis. You hit it right on the head with that, you know.
Which is like doesn't mean you don't have to not like it, you know.
Right, absolutely.
Because I think of like I mean a great example is like punk rock. Like technically, a lot of those punk bands not technically skilled or great, but there was something great about it. You know, there is a magic to some of those bands, and so yeah, you can objectively critique it, but subjectively, you can still really love Bohemian Rhapsody, John.
Our audience just dropped, cut in half.
I know. Everybody's logging off. I'm not very helpful.
It's not easy being a panelist, right? You know.
No, I don't even have to draw and I mess it up.
Oh goodness me. Yeah, but I love that type of stuff because it takes, you know, pieces of art or just the people that made them, and it removes like it grounds them in reality. You know, it's like here are people that are actually doing things that you can apply yourself in your own work, and they're not this. It's not this sort of magic anymore. You know, I got a teacher who used to always say like, let the audience think that you woke up and just did it. It's like you have to actually understand, you know, what it takes to make a great piece of artwork. And if you don't know how to do that on a consistent basis, then you won't have much of a career as an artist. And it's like, wow, yeah.
There is the episode that I recommend the most is and I think it kind of touches on that a little bit, is he analyzes Buster Keaton.
Oh, cool.
And one of the rules that Buster Keaton had was that he would do these very elaborate stunts, but after like a second try, if it didn't work, he would abandon the whole thing. And it was like this belief, like you're making it too complicated. Like wow. if it's not simple enough, if it can't be pulled off, which is a really interesting thing, because it's like it blurs that line. It's kind of a tightrope walk of, well, are you just giving up? But he had this like, I don't know, he had a really interesting approach of like not trying too hard, but also
I can relate.
Having an incredible work ethic, you know? Yeah. I think everybody's leaving to go watch every film.
Well, it's just like, don't ruin Buster Keaton for me now.
No, John, he doesn't, most of them are not critiques. Most of them are like, this is why, you know, this is why Joel and Ethan Coen are so good, or Kurosawa, like this is why we owe so much to this filmmaker. It's that's why it's called Every Frame a Painting, is that like you look at these movies and it's like truly some of the scenes are like paintings. I think he did one for Drive that was really great, and he talks about the quarter panels in framing. It's really interesting.
John, maybe we should make this a new segment. And we can
Where I
entitle
just
it.
stream the YouTube
we'll-
channel.
No, we'll entitle it Timmy Ruins Everything.
Timmy ruins
Yeah.
all John's heroes.
Yeah.
Every frame, it'll be
Everything John likes.
No, it'll be every painting of video.
I am a huge Buster Keaton fan, though. Gotta love it.
It's such a cool. I mean, you'll love it. You'll love it then. It's really cool. He does not say a bad thing about Buster Keaton, John.
That's good. Those are fighting words.
So Timmy, I just posted a link. I don't know if you've seen it before, but it's staging of a Vertigo scene in Vertigo on Nerdwriter. Thought you might like. That's looking great, Ray.
Oh, thanks. I know I'm running out of time, so Matt, just trying to figure out what I want to just.
You got 8 seconds to figure it out.
Oh, I do. Great. All right. So they're like this, and that. And then.
Hey, Ray, I've got a question from Paul.
Yeah.
I may have missed this, but what medium is being used and what kind of surface?
This is acrylics on a just sketchbook paper. It's like a heavy duty sketchbook paper that has been toned with just gray, Middle Valley gray acrylic. And that's it. It dries fast, and yeah, you just you could gesso it if you wanted to. I just had some acrylics on my palette, and so I just mixed up a gray and then I applied it over. It doesn't have to be gray. It could be anything you want. I like Middle Valley because I can see my lights and my darks. And it's in acrylics because they dry fast, and I want to get better at painting with acrylics. Because I start most of my pieces, my oil paintings, in acrylics. All right.
Halstead had to make a jab about my because I think I'm throwing people off. One week I'm saying one of my favorite films is Speed, and then I'm talking about classic. This is great.
It's always you fit the bill of a movie snob. So right in line.
Hey, if it's got hey, Don Kilpatrick's in here. Is he on the? I was waiting for him to join.
I snuck in.
Oh,
right,
there
hey,
he
Don.
is.
Hey.
God, thank God.
Yeah.
Timmy's been ruining everything.
That's what I heard. That's
I'm
why
so
I had
happy
to
you're here.
hurry as fast as I could to get in here.
Oh my God.
Timmy minutes.
He started off with Bohemian Rhapsody, and then he went straight for Buster Keaton.
Oh, you've got to be stopped.
John had to leave. He was so upset.
I saw Bill logged off right when I started talking. It's like, man, this is bad.
So
Bill
good.
Kolb has left the chat room.
No, I'm still here.
No, I know.
I got kicked out though. I don't know.
Yeah.
Timmy?
It wasn't me. I've never kicked anybody out of the room.
I know. I'm just kidding. I couldn't.
I'm always ready, but it's like the Twilight Zone episode where they all go to the town and everybody's afraid of the kid because he can do things with his mind.
Billy Mooney.
Yeah.
Oh man.
All right. John, can I have one more stroke and then I'll be done? I'm sorry, it took extra Timmy minutes.
Yeah, help yourself, right? Yeah.
We got to make that a thing.
Timmy minutes.
I'm determined to make
Timmy
that.
time.
That and then
If I was the timekeeper. Yeah.
oh yeah, Don. I don't know if you heard this, but Timmy's lost his timekeeping responsibility, so they took it away
Yeah.
from him. So Timmy minutes are literally not possible. He was kicked off.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I'm just like a Zoom, like
The Zoom czar.
a Zoom czar. I was gonna say like a Zoom butler at this point.
With everybody.
that talks too much. You know?
Were you really going after Buster Keaton though?
No, I wasn't going after Buster Keaton. See, people are gonna fast forward through this.
I know
and they're gonna
about
be
that.
Like, they're not gonna listen to the whole thing, and then they'll be like,
It was a YouTube
Like-
thing that deconstructed Buster Keaton's things, and it talked about how his working process was, and it was actually really interesting. So it wasn't anything bad about Buster Keaton being said. That being said, Timmy did say that Buster Keaton wasn't that great.
"No, I didn't."
Oh, no,
Shannon says context matters.
Kind
I
of
agree.
like,
I agree.
People are going to ask how the Illustration Academy ended, and it ended over Buster Keaton.
yeah, 2 words: Buster Keaton.
Yeah, they're gonna totally leave out the events
Those
of
fighting words.
the events of 2020 will be totally forgotten. And they'll just be
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, it's probably Timmy." All right,
All right, so I'm set. I'm done. I think I'm finito.
awesome.
Thank you for the extra time.
Looks great. I'm gonna do a quick tour of the studio, and while we're doing this, everyone please post your work. You can go to our Facebook group or post it to Instagram with the hashtag Illustration Isolation and tag @VisualArtsPassage. So Bill, we're gonna stop by and see what you've been up to. Cool.
Nice, Bill.
Turn it. Hang on.
That is nice. Oh, cool.
That's
John
beautiful. Nice one, John.
stuck with the first one.
Great.
Oh,
Awesome,
that's
Vanessa. Wow, that's cool.
Love that. Such great mood.
I'll just take a quick screenshot of that and say that's mine.
Ooh, that is nice.
Don, that's awesome.
Nice, Don.
Thanks.
That's great.
Did that in 2 minutes. Just kidding.
All right. Who's up next?
Jesus.
Vanessa, are you up next? John?
What? Is it my turn?
John? I don't know if John can hear it. John's got his mic muted, so he's the key
I'm here.
master. Is Vanessa up next?
Yes,
The
of
follow-up
course.
question would be, Vanessa, what image would you like? We've got
Right.
the athlete, the musician, the guy wearing the bucket hat, and the girl in the green neon jumpsuit.
I'll do the neon
Cool. Awesome.
jumpsuit.
The one with the easy colors.
I will not be doing colors. Maybe, I don't know. I haven't decided.
Yeah. Sweet. Okay, cool. So if you hit refresh, that photo should be updated. And then I just shared a link to where we're sharing the photos. And yeah. So we're all set. Vanessa, thanks for joining us again. This is fun.
Yeah. I'm sorry I'm so quiet. I'm just just
You
listening
just don't want
and
to.
enjoying.
You just don't want to sound like a dummy like us.
No.
You don't want to say anything that's gonna,
Yeah, yeah. You're just more calculated with the words that come out of your mouth. I think
You're a lot smarter than we are, Vanessa.
Yeah,
Trust
you're
me.
smarter than us. That's I think what you're saying.
Yes.
Yeah. No, thanks for tuning in. If this is your first time joining us, or if you're not familiar with our artists on the panel, we've got some really amazing ones joining us. Vanessa, we've got Vanessa, who's an amazing comic book artist. She's we've had her teach with us quite a few times now, the Illustration Academy, and you've definitely seen her work. Highly recommend checking it out if this is your first time watching Vanessa draw. She's got some really great stuff, and yeah.
Thank you, Timmy. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
of course. No.
You're so sweet. What do you want me to talk about?
Well, what made you pick this image from the other ones that were available? Was it kind of just the pose? Yeah. Definitely not the color though.
Not the color.
If you were working on this, would you maybe grayscale it? If you were going to use it for a project?
Probably. I don't normally do that, but yeah, probably it would be a good idea.
Yeah.
To do that, just to see the values better.
Yeah.
But I don't really need to do that now. I'm just gonna go with just try to do it by squinting my eyes a little bit. And that way I can see sort of what's happening, and also comparing shapes to each other.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I was just going to ask, so have you been pretty busy on projects still? Last week, I remember you had a lot of stuff going on that we couldn't talk about. I'm assuming we still can't talk about it.
Yeah, still on it.
Still on it? That's cool.
Yeah.
Has been, I'm assuming you're still like fairly quarantined. Has that like allowed you to like focus more on your work, or generally is that pretty easy for you?
I'm sorry?
Like being quarantined, has that made it easier to focus on your projects, or like with fewer distractions, or is that ever, does that not really bother you?
Not really. Nothing really changed for me.
Yeah.
I'm used to just being inside, drawing most of the time. Yeah, I just have a lot.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, like all of my friends, like when the shelter in place occurred, they like their lives, I mean, like everybody, like their lives pretty much changed dramatically as far as like daily like work life. And they were all like, oh my God, what's it like for you guys in the school? And I was like, well, we got our groceries delivered this week. Like I was like, it's kind of business as usual. Not to belittle it or anything. It's just it did, like I'm so used to staying home in general that because I work from home. But yeah.
Right. I mean, people have been losing their minds because they have to stay home.
Mm-hmm.
It's just funny.
Do you have you been having to stay home like 100% of the time? So have you been like listening to any new music, or like marathoning Netflix or anything like that? I think any entertainment or anything interesting you've been consuming?
Yeah, a lot of TV for sure.
Yeah.
movies and shows.
Yeah.
I watched. I guess the most recent show would be, was it Homecoming?
Oh yeah. On Amazon.
On Amazon.
Yeah. That's
And
super good.
yeah.
That was a
It's
radio show
interesting.
originally.
I didn't know.
Yeah, it was like a dramatized radio. What do you call that? I feel like Bill would be able to chime in and answer that. A radio drama. Yeah.
Yeah. It was really good. I binged watch it.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a really easy one to binge.
Yeah.
There's a second season. I haven't watched it yet. With Janelle Monáe is in it.
Yeah. She's really great.
She's so
I
good.
think I like the second season. Yeah.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
What else?
John Lewis just said the banter is my third favorite thing here, and what I would say is it's the banter is the number one thing here that will stop it also. No, yeah.
Banter.
Banter, yeah.
What is the meaning of that word exactly?
I mean, I could try to guess the etymology of it, but it's going to be pretty speculative. I don't know. It's like chit chat, like
Back and forth.
Right.
back and forth,
Back and forth.
banter, back and forth, yeah. Roasting each other. Alana's just roasting each other. Yeah, that's the digs. Yeah. Yeah. But somebody just came in the room. Let's see.
It'd be Gil.
Yeah, Don, what's going on with Gil getting classes during
Huh?
Gil's I think he was busy with classes or something.
Oh,
He's teasing. I'm just teasing. I'm like, hey, you're gonna need to free up some schedule.
What's the deal, man? Gosh, Gil. Oh, no, it's we have our pre-college stuff happening right now, and I think that's
cool.
Yeah, I think that's what he's doing. He usually teaches that. I think. I know he has years. So.
Yeah. Yeah, we're he's become a staple for a lot of people. So.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I won't be able to go to sleep tonight without Gil.
I mean, it's so calming. Yeah.
That Gil telling us everything's going to be okay.
That's right.
Yeah. Good.
And if he doesn't participate, I'll have to call him afterwards and have him talk me down.
Yeah, put me on the conference call for that.
Yeah, well, you know what we'll do is we'll just call him from here. Everybody can hang out.
Yeah, why don't we just call him? Yeah.
He'll be like, hey, why are you guys calling so late?
Just kind of like guide us through it until we.
Another thing is he'll answer the phone and it'll be like, this room is being recorded.
That's strange.
Yeah, huh.
No, that's great. Speaking of series, have you guys watched What We Do in the Shadows?
Oh yeah,
Yes.
it's so funny.
That's so cool.
I can't. Oh. Now,
did you see the film or the show?
Well, there's the TV. I've not seen the film. I've seen the TV series, and I got to say, the second season. I love the first season, but the second season is so good. You got to check it out if you haven't seen it. It's so.
Is that on like Hulu?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. It. And I started watching Homecoming the second season. I didn't start with the first season, and it's good. I enjoy that too.
Yeah. I also saw Upload,
Is that
which is
kind of like a rom-com, or is it?
kind of
Yeah.
What is
kind
that?
of cheesy-ish, but it's fun, cheesy,
Called Upload.
funny. Yeah.
Cool.
So Vanessa, did you kind of like, and maybe it's a little bit blown out on my desktop screen, but like it appears to me that you really went to like try and outline the whole figure before. Like, what was the what is your, I think, your approach to like to working on this piece? Like, is it your hope to like kind of outline the figure in general and then go from
Yeah.
there? Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. To get
How
like
does that
a
help you?
general,
Yeah.
to get like a general, sort of like shape so that I can compare, things to each other. For example, like I do a mark from which arm, how far from each other they are, or um, where this line ends, like how far from this
Yeah.
sleeve is the heel going to be, or the foot. Um, so that's how I calculate proportions in a way. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. It probably made
Shape.
sense
It's all
for,
shape.
it probably made sense for most of the audience, so much so that they wouldn't have asked my question, but but I'm just curious. Yeah.
I thought it was a great question, Timmy.
Thanks, Ray.
Yeah.
Any question that takes like 7 sentences to get out, they're always great,
It's the
Yeah.
type I ask, I'll tell you
Yeah.
that.
Let me phrase this 8 different ways.
Yeah.
Mm.
do you feel like a need to like kind of I'm trying to think of the right way to say it, but like watch TV and like stay kind of like hip on like new, like not trends, but like things that are part of the like watching something like for inspiration. Are you trying to consume like a lot of television or read books, or where do you get a lot of your inspiration for your comics? Does a lot of it come from television, or is it mostly from other artists?
Yeah, mostly from other people's work.
Yeah.
Mostly film stuff.
Yeah.
But stuff from my own life too.
Mm-hmm.
Which is really hope. But I do watch a lot of movies. Just
Yeah.
saw Vivarium the
Oh
other
yeah,
day.
that's so with that's so weird with what's his name? Oh man,
Yeah, I
such a
forget
good
his name
actor.
too.
Somebody can answer it. It's Mark
I,
Zuckerberg, Facebook.
Eisenberg,
Jesse
something like that.
Eisenberg. Jesse Eisenberg.
Eisenberg, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's such a weird. I haven't finished it, so I can't talk about it too much. But so bizarre. What a weird concept.
Yeah, it's really good. Really made me think about things.
Yeah.
Just trying to figure it out.
I think that I got into it and I was like, I don't foresee this having a nice, like a happy ending. And I was like, I don't think I'm in the right headspace to finish this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
It's a little strange.
so if you see a movie like that, do you think about things like that when you're trying to, like, if then when you go to a project that you're working on, do you try to pull things from that ever, or do you find yourself using things like that ever? Not to say like, are you ripping off Vivarium in any current project?
Right.
but like,
Oh,
yeah, but like you find inspiration,
well,
Yeah.
yeah, just look at how they told the story, or
Uh-huh.
like what the concepts are behind the story or
Uh-huh.
what they're trying to say and how they're saying it.
Yeah.
You know what they're using, but not necessarily the concept itself, just how they're using it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just storytelling techniques, sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I look for. Um,
As a comic artist, do you find, and like working in sequential art, do you, to what do, like what are your thoughts on story, um, opposed to I think maybe, and I'm sure John could phrase this better, even if he could even unpack what I'm trying to ask. But just story compared to maybe just technical facilitation.
not
Like
sure
how
I
important?
understand the question.
Yeah, like how important I think is like story versus aesthetics. Ryan, thank you. You're a lifesaver.
Versus aesthetic.
somebody just asked in
Well,
the audience. They said, what do you, how do you yeah, what are story versus aesthetics in your opinion? What do you
story is more
think
important.
defines? Yeah.
But aesthetics is a way to tell a story. It's just like a medium, right? I mean,
Uh-huh.
aesthetics is the way that things look, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you figure out a way to what the story is about and how you want it to look. So
Mm-hmm.
aesthetics are kind of a way to tell a story, or is used in certain stories. So I guess you can't really divide them, right? They go
Mm-hmm.
together.
Yeah, it's actually really funny because now that you say that, I've seen movies that have, and I'm just like, I watch a lot of movies, so that's my
Mm.
fastest reference point. But I've seen a lot of movies that have like amazing aesthetics, but I didn't connect with the story at all.
Mm.
And then I've noticed that there are like, and I don't know, maybe the story just wasn't like, it's just one of those things where you can't relate to it, so you don't like it.
But then that sort of
But
falls
yeah,
into taste
uh-huh,
in a way,
yeah,
right?
totally,
So yeah.
yeah,
You were saying the Coen Brothers, for example.
uh-huh,
They have a certain aesthetic, so but I guess that falls more into style than it does.
uh-huh,
Um, but they do use certain aesthetics for certain movies. I mean, I don't think Barton Fink was the same way as Hail Caesar at all,
uh-huh, yeah,
or Serious Man is a completely different movie. But they kind of have the same feeling or the
mm-hmm,
same. I don't know. They kind of all look old timey in a way.
yeah. Have you seen any of the Safdie brothers movies?
Which one?
Uh, the directors are called the Safdie brothers, and they did Good Time, and the 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 biggest one that was Uncut Gems with Adam Sandler.
Oh yeah, that was great. Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Yeah.
Or Guy Ritchie,
Oh, totally, Guy Ritchie. Yeah,
right? So
yeah. It's funny.
yeah.
Somebody told me to watch Uncut Gems, and it was like a stressful day, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is like the worst suggestion ever." Like, it's such a good movie though, as far as that
It's
aesthetic,
fun, yeah.
the delivery of that story. But like, those are two filmmakers that like I they've done such a like they've facilitated that aesthetic to tell their story really well. They've used that as a vehicle for their other films like pretty flawlessly. But anyway, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess it's um a way to tell a story, part of it,
Yeah.
part of the process.
Is it hard being in quarantine? Is it hard for you to, because I know like a lot of artists that we've, you know, whether it's just some of the artists that we talk with, like it's been really hard to focus I think because there's just so much going on. Is that, is you're very, my opinion would be that you're a very focused person. Um, and that you're, the task at hand, like I would assume are a very focused person. Do you have any recommendations on that, or do you feel that that's true? Like, is
Um,
it hard for you to focus right now on your work and on your art, or has that been difficult?
um, uh, not really.
Yeah.
Um, I I don't know. Like I wouldn't know what else to do really.
Yeah.
Besides, I mean, I watch movie pretty much every day.
Yeah.
But that's, I mean,
Yeah.
I have to pay attention. So that's pretty
Uh-huh.
much before I go to bed. And the time
Yeah.
before that, I just spend it doing work.
Yeah.
I don't really know. Like, um,
Well, I think the lesson for people in the audience would be, don't like fall down like a Twitter news don't fall down like a Twitter news alert cycle before you go to bed, I
Vanessa,
guess.
I got a question
Yeah.
for you, or maybe you can explain. I know every time that I've been around you, when you draw, you talk about, or when you lecture or anything, you talk about warming up before you start. Um,
right.
can you explain that process? Can you explain, like, because it sounds like an athlete the way you talk about it.
Right.
Getting it. So what do you do when you sit down to do a page or to go to work for the comics? What do you do before?
Um, yeah, it's pretty much just like an athlete. You sort of like stretch out. I mean, I stretch out your muscles in a way. Um, I practice like hand movements, and I just sit down and look at whatever picture or something that calls my attention, and draw it for a little bit, or do something from my own head, just to get my hands going for the day. I mean,
So when you
everybody gets really stiff.
so when you were learning, when you were studying to before you did a lot of professional work, um, what kind of exercises did you do? Like drawing exercises did you do every day?
Draw from life. I draw from life a lot. I do still do that. Just my cat or my roommate, or family members. The street or the buildings in a block, that sort of thing. To warm up, with the hand, just get the muscles going. Um, right now, I usually do some pictures, but yeah,
Was drawing the most important aspect of you developing for a comic artist?
yeah, definitely. Especially drawing from life, you can build up sort of like a little library in your head, um, for poses and things, just how things look in, outside in 3D. I mean, I don't think we can always rely on pictures if you want to do comics. Um, you need to be pretty fast. So yeah, I recommend drawing from life a lot.
Yeah, but you work on the skill, you develop drawing from memory at a really high level too.
Yeah, definitely. From pictures, I mean, you do that from pictures too. If you pay attention to what you're drawing, I mean, I'm pretty sure I've seen these hands before, and I could probably draw it without even looking at it later on. But you build the library also from drawing from reference.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's just speed. Like You have to be really fast.
So,
I can't always rely on pictures.
do you photograph a lot, or just find photographs?
Find photographs now. I used to photograph. But it takes a long time. So if I'm painting or something, like doing a cover, maybe I'll do a reference picture. But not normally just for pages. I make poses up.
So what's the usual timeline for like a cover in terms of days? And
In terms of days, it's about 4 days. Yeah. But that's like notes back and forth, and I have to give them preliminary sketches and color studies sometimes.
and that whole process is 4 days?
Yeah.
What's your favorite part of comics? I mean, what's your favorite thing to do in comics?
How to tell a story. Just the storytelling. How to make the story flow. How to make it progress with images and drawing in sequence. It's really fun for me. Yeah.
Well, you're great at it.
Thank you. Thank you. I try.
John, was that the
That was the bell.
that was the
Is
bell?
that my alarm?
That was your alarm.
Cool. I'm gonna
You
zoom
can
out.
take a couple more minutes if you want.
Yeah, we can let the artists go for a little bit.
Oh man, look at that thing.
That's
I got
beautiful.
everything.
That's awesome.
I got pretty much everything down. Kind of.
It's beautiful.
Nice.
Thank you. I'm going. Oh wow, look at that. That's awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, yours is
Amazing colors.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I love these.
Yeah.
Kind of make it vibrant.
Hey.
Ooh,
Nice.
nice.
Sweet.
That's really cool.
Thanks. I'm regretting doing color and should probably just leave that to Don for the foreseeable future.
I don't know about that.
Amazing.
Bill. Nice.
Sweet.
Hey, Don, you want to do one?
Sure, man.
All right. Don. We're in Michigan. We're
Live.
live from Michigan. All right. So, Don, you joined us late. Now these are the photos that we have available. We've got the athlete,
Okay.
the musician, and the guy in the wearing the bucket hat.
Bucket hat.
You a bucket hat guy?
I don't know. I said I remember that one when we sent it around.
It's a really cool portrait. It's straight on.
Does it have like a good cast shadow on it? Was it that one?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, let's go for that. Let's try it out. You know.
All right. Cool.
Get everything
All
set
right.
here. Can everybody see what I've got here? Okay.
Yeah, it looks great. And everybody, I'm sharing the link to our next, to the photo. If you just tuned in, this is where we're at. Follow the link and you'll be able to draw with us. If you just finished our last drawing with us, please go ahead and share it. We'll be checking them all out after this fourth figure. And to share, either go to our Facebook page and join the Facebook group Illustration Isolation, or you can share it with the hashtag Illustration Isolation on Instagram.
Ooh, I really like this one.
And Don, while you're getting set up, I'm going to take a 30-second commercial break.
Awesome.
If you're just tuning in, if you're just getting to know Visual Arts Passage, we host this every Thursday. It's totally free. We try and get all of our art friends to join in, and everybody here that's on the panel, they all volunteer. And if you're looking for more, if you want to become part of the banter, you should definitely consider checking out our mentorship courses. That's what John and I do all year round. We're offering online art classes that are fully immersive, that are the real experiences where you get to work and learn from a working professional. Like some of the individuals in our crowd or in our panel, Vanessa and Ray have both been guest speakers. Bill's been a guest speaker, and he sneaks into our study halls. We don't know how, but he keeps getting in, and he's been an awesome supporter too. But it's just a really amazing program, and I highly recommend considering our summer semester, which starts this Saturday. So if you want to learn more, I'll share a link, but it's just like this, except you get to have video and you get to have audio chat, and it's truly like it's really designed to be a compass towards career development. And so, please check it out. If we've got some Visual Arts Passage students in the crowd, please feel free to share, your experience. I can see Dale Stefanos. I'm going to do my weekly upgrade to panelist.
Yeah.
Dale is a mentor with us. He teaches portfolio development. But yeah, I just want to remind everybody you can enroll right now, and it's really an exceptional program. Don, I'm going to give you the floor now. Sorry.
Oh, no worries.
That
No,
was
it's
only 30 seconds, right?
yeah. 2 minutes. No.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm totally kidding. No, that's great. I really think, I echo your sentiments. I think this is an amazing thing that you guys have going on. I'm honored to be here and, hang out with you guys. So yeah, it's definitely.
It's an honor to have you.
If you guys are, if those, attending tonight are thinking about it, I definitely would put a plug for that as well. It's a great way to get things going in your artistic career, definitely. So I'm actually, what's kind of great about this last painting is I'm just taking the piles of paint that I used on this last session, and I'm just gonna, it actually works as a nice limited palette base for what I'm gonna do here with the photo reference of the gentleman wearing the bucket hat. So, oh shoot, I need to get back to my reference here. Sorry, guys. Okay, now I'm okay. All right.
We're doing the bucket hat, right?
Yeah, I'm just kind of massing in. What I really enjoy about this is just this really beautiful cast shadow across his face.
Yeah.
How, when I'm massing in like this, it's kind of interesting when, you guys were talking with Vanessa and how she's talking about how she will practice certain marks or certain moves. Is the way I'm interpreting it, at least. I kind of find myself doing similar things, although I could probably benefit by practicing that ahead of time. But I'm not really trying to get a precise silhouette, but I'm looking for the silhouette. That was a major breakthrough for me, attending the Illustration Academy all that time ago, was, sitting in a figure drawing session and having Mark English come up behind you and say, look for the silhouette, and I've retained that for my entire career. So that's what I'm always looking for. And then you just refine those shapes. It's like really a language of shapes that you keep refining those shapes. You're not worried about getting it super precise at the beginning. You're just, at least I don't, I try to block in and then go from there.
Yeah, I love watching everyone in how they start a piece, and like everyone does it a little differently, but we're all using the same terminology, like kind of like just, I was just listening to Vanessa talking, and I didn't even want to pipe in because I wanted to, so I'm a fan of her work,
right?
And watching her just listen to her just break down how she did her drawing, was like, yeah, I totally get that,
right.
using the marks, and everyone's doing the whole sort of the idea of like going from simple to complex,
mm-hmm. And refining as you go. And
right.
I mean, the thing I love about her work in particular is that energy of the brush stroke, where it's just like, whoa.
Yeah.
And you see someone who really is very attentive to getting that move right, practicing the move.
Yeah, I think the warm-up is something I need to do as well.
Because there's, I love doing this. I think, it's kind of, it's fun to do this in front of everyone, but it's also a little bit nerve-wracking even after, having done this for, a few weeks. It's still, and so I think I don't know, I don't know if anybody else feels that, but it's always beneficial to, you can never get enough.
I'm never worried, Don. So I don't know. I'm not scared at all. We're super intimidated by all these artists.
God, what's wrong with you? You obviously didn't watch my horrible first drawing, so.
I liked your drawing a lot, Bill. My drawing looks like my painting fell into my palette, and then my palette fell into a dumpster truck, and then got set on fire. So
that's how I was feeling about some of mine last week.
Your description of your drawing sounds like a description of Twitter.
Yeah, my drawing is Twitter. Yeah, my painting was
fire that fell into another dumpster fire.
Yeah. That's usually most of my how I feel about most of my paintings.
Have you guys seen? There's actually, and I don't know if they've sold out, but there's actually action figure dumpster fires
No.
that are for sale. And I've I was like, oh, I got to get that, because I'll see it. Somebody will post about it, and I'm like, oh, I got to get that, and then I forget. And now I'm going to look it up tonight.
I got to look that up. I'm going to make another tab, because I have Homeland. I've got the Buster Keaton, the YouTube thing, toy dumpster fire.
Another thing that I've kind of gotten addicted to. My college president watches all these die-cast, like Hot Wheels racing, like some guys, like, there's a whole thing on that on YouTube, and there's a whole other group of people that restore them. They'll buy like an old Matchbox or and I'm like now wanting to restore Hot Wheels and Matchbox.
Oh, wow.
I'm really jonesing for new stuff to watch. So
Don, like early on in the sports getting shut down, I was part of like a group text chain of my buddies we were all presenting what we believed showrunners at ESPN were trying to come up with for entertainment to like fill the broadcast. And my buddy found this YouTube channel that was like this guy that just broadcasts marble races. And it was so great. And he like narrates them as if they're these he narrates them as if it's like a horse race. It's so great.
Oh man, that's
yeah.
So cool.
There was definitely a couple weeks at ESPN, where they were like, we're running out of stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
no, somebody in the crowd just said marble racing is not a joke. Yeah. I believe it, but yeah.
I know it's
yeah. I guess it's been on John Oliver. This is old news. Everybody in the crowd's like, no, it's a real sport to me.
No, yeah, it's cool.
I mean, it's a great time to get a hobby like that, So.
Yeah. Well, and I was looking at
Timmy.
What's that?
That's what I was thinking, Timmy.
Yeah. John, you and I have plenty of time to get into marble racing and
yeah.
All the time in the world, right?
Yeah, all the time in the world. We're not busy.
Not at all. Yeah. Well, I was thinking, okay, airbrush, check, because this guy has like an airbrush, a Dremel, and like, I'm like, I got that. I have a drill, and then he was like recasting the wheels, and I was like, I got to learn how to do that.
Oh, yeah. So is this like Boy Scout level? You know what I'm talking about?
No. It's not Pine Ward Derby. These are like literally buying Matchbox cars, like old Matchbox, and storing them. Matchbox is the
like the brand,
the Brit version, right? The English version of Hot Wheels, right? And so there's a lot of the European cars, mid-century, right? And then you have being in the Motor City here, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah, sorry, John. I'm gonna get into Matchbox car design and racing, and I don't know if I'm gonna have enough time. I don't know if I'm gonna have enough time for this hobby and illustration isolation.
Yeah.
I'm looking at it right now, Don. It seems like it is an investment of time.
It's pretty intense. It's like there's some pretty intense channels on there. It's just warning you right now, going down the rabbit's hole.
Hot Wheel. Somebody Brandon Rodriguez just shared Hot Wheel restoration.
Oh man. Funny. We might experience Tiffany actually resigning on live stream from the Illustration Academy.
Yeah.
To pursue his interests, his true loves.
It really clicked. There was this is not Hot Wheels related or Matchbox related, but there was a group of agencies. I think they were like ad agencies. I believe it was either Kansas City or St. Louis, that they had an annual Pinewood Derby, and each company would submit their own car, and it was
like a corporate challenge of sorts.
Yeah, it was like a corporate challenge, but it became like intensely competitive. And my little brother, it was in St. Louis because I think he participated. I remember he sent me photos of some of the cars, and it would be like an amazing replica of like the Bluth family airport truck from Arrested Development, like just unbelievable stuff, but yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, we had a couple of those here, and with the ad community here, and yeah, it was pretty intense. People got into it. I had to miss it, but I worked on a Vespa scooter for that, and the only thing that was kind of a bummer about that is I couldn't make it truly a two-wheel, because of the track you race them on. Intense thing.
Hey, so this is an exciting event. Dale Stefanos is on camera drawing
No
with
way.
us tonight. Yeah,
What?
big deal.
Yes. It's good to see him here, man.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
awesome to have him.
seriously. Yeah, you better be working and not like making a ham sandwich or something like that.
He's restoring Hot Wheels.
He's restoring Hot Wheels.
We're on.
Oh, see, I've been insulting you guys the whole time. And,
Uh-oh.
okay, hold on.
Listening.
Yeah. Sorry, Dale.
Yeah, I've been insulting you guys the whole time. You never. I was muted.
Sounds good now.
Sure.
This is great. We're checking out Dale's studio right now.
It's
If you're
looking
in the
great.
crowd.
Yeah, I love his control.
Dale, we'll see you on Saturday. Dale's teaching portfolio development.
Oh, cool.
Pretty excited.
I don't know. I'm thinking about joining a Hot Wheels restoration club instead.
Hey, as long as there's a portfolio.
Switch up the syllabus.
It's a Hot Wheels club who you have to hate Buster Keaton to get in there, though.
Yeah.
There it is.
Sounds-
That's it. Yeah. I was thinking about that.
Getting intense.
Probably.
People are just unsubscribing so fast. It's just,
Well,
honestly, it's just a panel at this point, guys. Yeah.
This is what happens when you take the timer away from Timmy. I mean,
Yeah.
you just
It goes just.
make things
Start-
implode.
starts getting into other things. Turning the panel against each other.
Yeah.
There is a precedent for illustrators designing cars.
Yeah.
Which, Bill, I don't know anything about that, but Bill, what's like the most prominent car that you think of when you think of that?
I mean, you have Sid Mead, right? I mean,
Yep.
Sid Mead started off working at GM and worked with DeLorean, and made his way out to Hollywood.
A friend of mine has a DeLorean.
His name's Sid?
No.
His name Doc Brown.
Doc Brown.
Yeah. Don, is Sydney? Who is the? Oh, never mind. I almost totally embarrassed myself. I mean, I basically did. I was gonna ask, basically, the DeLorean. What was the first name? What's his name? DeLorean.
John.
DeLorean.
John.
John DeLorean. Yeah.
Yeah, the building where essentially a lot of that design happened, it was GM's design center that we recently acquired that as part of our college a few years back.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, the place was literally built like a fortress just because of all the I mean, there wasn't only the research and development on different cars, but during World War II, there were all kinds of, secret
Is this
programs.
the elevator building?
Yeah, and gigantic, there's a gigantic turntable on the 11th floor. The first functioning artificial heart machine was developed in that building too. It was the size of a giant room,
That's really eclectic.
Wow.
That they were like building tanks, and then some guy was like, "Yeah, on the third floor,
Heart machine. Yeah,
we have a heart.
yeah,
We
But it
do it
was-
all."
yeah.
No, you had told me, just for context, I think when we had visited Detroit, you were telling us that they had an elevator that could lift a tank.
Yeah.
that right?
You could park a Sherman
Yeah.
tank and take it.
Yeah.
You know, there was recently a F-450 that I saw up there when we were, just before the pandemic hit, that they were
Yeah.
part of some conference or something. But that's a regular thing in the that room was, very, very secure back in the day. And, it's kind of nice that, a lot of that work still happens in that building now.
Hmm.
The illustration department's down on the other campus, but, there are more and more classes happening up there. And it's good.
They get to the people who teach there get to park on the 3rd floor.
Yeah. I mean, the building, it's a lot of these buildings in Detroit were made. I mean, it's heavy manufacturing, right?
Yeah.
They were, there's,
Right.
obviously there's a lot of, old factories in
Yeah.
disrepair, but they're not
Right.
coming down anytime soon.
They're just like, yeah, the building, not a lot of great, not the best natural light, but like the parking is unbeatable.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
have to
you
park in your classroom.
park and then you walk over to your class and hey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But why bother getting out of your car? You probably have class from there.
Yeah, you just, stick the assignment to the windshield and
I've never visited Detroit. I've got to do that.
yeah, come out here, man.
Detroit's great. It's great.
Dale, I forgot that's where we actually, that's where I first met you.
Yeah, that's right.
That
That's
was
right.
such a nice afternoon. Yeah.
It was. It was. We went out to dinner. So
Uh-huh.
I didn't realize this about Detroit. It's right on the edge of the Eastern time zone. Is that right?
Yeah, we're on New York time.
Yeah, but so I'm just outside of Boston. I came out of a restaurant at, I don't know, 10 o'clock at night, and I thought it was like 6:30. I'm like, what the hell? It was totally bright out. It doesn't. We don't do that here in New England. We go to bed early.
Yeah, I don't, I don't know why. I mean, but you're right. It does stay lighter, especially in the summer months. Quite.
Well, I think it's just that you were on that side of the time zone. So it's almost like being in a different time zone. It was very weird. But man, I love Detroit. My kids make fun of me because I'm always going on about how great Detroit is.
Yeah, I've really, I moved here about just a little over 10 years ago, and I fell in love with it pretty fast. I really think it's been I love the city. I love the, everything about it. It's definitely a great place. I'm really happy. I'm really glad Neil brought me here. And it's been great working with him. It's been great working with, other faculty, Francis Vallejo, and
That's phenomenal.
we got a great group, and it's a great town. It's a great city. I think in spite of all the challenges, I think there's so many really great things to say about it.
Well, I think it's because of all the challenges. It's it seems like a fresh page. It's never going to be what it was.
Right.
But it's definitely.
Be careful, Dale.
What's that?
Careful. That's a couple good people there.
Yeah.
Man, I love Buster Keaton. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
Well, but I
Dale.
think there's a great opportunity. The one great thing with Detroit is understanding there's decades of complex manufacturing knowledge, and it's so applicable to so many different industries, and not just the automotive, but outside of Silicon Valley, most of the technology, really cutting edge technology, is going into transportation systems, and a lot of that's happening here in the Metro Detroit area.
Mm.
So I think with the background we have in manufacturing, there's just not really many other places in the country that has that kind of know-how, and that's definitely, it'll take a different form, but it's one of the great things I think about the area. Tool and die shops like nobody's business.
Yeah, yeah. It's funny when you were talking. I forget if we were just talking in a group or if you were on a panel. But you were talking about how you needed more room, so you thought, I'll buy a building. Is that
Yeah.
right? Do I have it right? Okay. So again, I'm from Boston. I was like, ooh, Don has $15 million. And then I
No.
realized, oh, we're in Detroit.
Yeah,
Can't
you
do
know,
that.
it's a great building. It was an old furnace factory, furnace parts factory that was built like, literally right after the war. And, it's got a little bit of work we got to do on it, but, it's about 6,000 square feet, and it's been great. We've really, I've been able to, do a lot of my own work there, use it as a space where I can bring students and, make it an additional resource in that way. And yeah, if anybody's ever out this way, look me up.
Dale, just to correct you, Don does have $15 million.
It's the Matchbox car money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm telling you
Big
guys.
illustration money.
Betting on marble races. Yeah.
Yes. I'm making a killing right now.
It's the shoes. The shoes.
It's the shoes, man.
Definitely.
Hey, Don, David Rose just gave me a question. I got to ask you, what's this about? What's this about RoboCop and your studio?
Oh, okay. So I'll tell you guys a story. So about 8 years ago, a couple of people in Detroit did a Kickstarter program, and I think, quite honestly, they started it as a joke, to raise enough money to build a RoboCop statue, or to
Oh my
make.
God, I saw that video.
Yeah, and so
Yeah.
they raised, when they started this thing, they ended up raising like $40,000. Well, anyway, fast forward 4 years ago, we buy this building. The gentleman in the building is Venus Bronze Works, and he's one of the few people in the U.S. who he does restorations on private collections of sculpture. He's got all these credentials and stuff, and they tapped him to cast the statue out of bronze, much like you would do in the Renaissance. And so another gentleman who was teaching at our college at the time, he helped him build a foundry within the building. This is prior to us, buying it. And they took a action figure of RoboCop, the classic one. They took it and did a 3D, they used I'm totally miffing on the technology, but they basically carved this thing out of high density foam like you would a car model,
Oh.
and to size. And then they cast it in the foundry, and they've got him together now. He's got a base, he's got the armature, he stands 13 feet tall, cast out of bronze, and that's on the other half of my building. So RoboCop's been in there with us the whole time, and he's kind of like our little one of our little sideshow novelties that if people aren't really feeling what like if people aren't really connecting with my work, I'm like, well, we got RoboCop here. I don't like your illustration, but you may not like my illustration, but here we got RoboCop, and that kind of distracts them. So he's been a hit, and so I'll be sad to see him go when they actually install him. But I don't know where the status is on where. I don't have a lot of the specifics on the plan for him, but it sure as heck is really cool to, be over there working on the one side and then walk over there and just see RoboCop. They have a lot of other statues too. Like they have a statue in right now that they're doing repair work on. It was a World War I doughboy that came out of Indiana somewhere, and they're fixing the statue. It was corroded, and they do a lot of that work. Like the Detroit Institute of Arts will have like a well-known sculpture that needs repair. They'll go up on site to Cranbrook and do work on site of in their sculpture garden, so on and so forth. So they keep very busy, but it's kind of cool to have a completely different type of artist in the same building with us. It's kind of a cool thing. And we've talked about trying to do things together, like hey, what if, you cast this out of metal, this carving that I do or something. And, we haven't really done much collaboration yet, but we're hoping to do some of that.
Like a RoboCop 2 statue. Or,
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, it's a franchise. Like,
and it's been a really great thing. I went in on the building with a former student of mine who's now a really successful graphic designer. He's really an illustrator, but he's a graphic designer, and he'll art direct me on projects, and we work together on a lot of projects. And we it's been really great to have that kind of connection there too, and it's been good. I really feel lucky to be able to have that. I mean, even in Detroit, there's areas of Detroit now where it's really not possible to buy a building that size, because real estate, relatively speaking, has gone up. But we're a little bit further out. We're closer to 8 Mile Road. We're because Detroit's really spread out. But I really like it there. I like the neighborhood. We've been able to be a part of the neighborhood and really help out. We're hoping to sponsor a soccer or a baseball team once that can start up again. So just trying to look at it from all the different aspects.
That's awesome.
It's been really fulfilling, and I just didn't think, moving here from the San Francisco Bay Area, I wouldn't have had that opportunity. And I love the Bay Area. It's a terrific, I really love it out there. But there just wasn't the possibility for me owning this kind of property. Just wasn't in the cards for me. So.
The way you talk about Detroit, I feel the same way about Buffalo.
Yeah. I've heard a lot of great things about Buffalo.
It's the greatest city ever. I mean, second to Detroit, of course. And then, yeah. I can't say Boston as a New Yorker, Dale. I'm sorry.
Okay, so you're off my list now.
Yeah.
I used to think you were awesome, and
I have more to lose than to gain if I go on record.
I have a lot of family history in Boston, and I've never been there.
Don't say that, Don, please.
No, it's a great town. It's a great town. Listen, I love New York. The Yankees are just the worst. The worst.
Dale, you're gonna.
I'm sorry. You know what? Come at me. Come on, I don't care.
Love it. I love it.
Dale,
you see what
Dale,
you did, Timmy?
Dale, you're bringing like I like this. It's like kind of rabble rousing.
Hey, Dale, I'm going to tell yourself right now, just don't bring up Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Who yourself now.
Wow.
Who's that? Who?
Tom who?
Dale's not from Florida.
I'm a Cam Newton fan.
Are now.
That's right.
No, but I love. I love.
We're already getting us from the crowd.
Listen, for those of you that have never been to Boston, I highly recommend it. Go to just the MFA. It's got like, oh, man. I mean, and if you've never heard of the Boston painters, like Frank Benson and so Richard Morris. I mean, like the whole Paxton. They were part of the Paxton group of painters, right?
Yeah.
I just do yourself a favor and take a look at them. William McGregor Paxton, incredible stuff.
I study with a guy who studied under Ives Gamble.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah.
Wow. What was his name? If you don't mind me asking.
His name's Tom Dunleavy.
I've definitely heard of Tom Dunleavy.
Yeah, he's a very well established.
Yeah.
Artist around here.
I'm familiar with Carl Sampson. I don't know if you've ever heard of Carl.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Yeah.
But great stories about that whole that whole era.
Ice Gamble, man. You went to the opera with Sargent.
Yeah. It's really cool. If you're ever in town, look, if anybody there is ever in town, I'll give you a good tour of Boston. We'll go to Fenway. We'll go to the Fenway Studios, which is this wonderful building that was built as artist studios. Everything is 2 floors and has north-facing light, and that's where a lot of the Boston School was located, basically. And it's still it's still artist communities or apartments. It's a what do you call it? Oh my God, I'm getting old and the word escapes me. When they have to vote you in, a co-op.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like a 10-year waiting list, and I've got my name on the list, and we'll see. But that's where a lot of the Boston School guys and girls were painting. And which is nice is that, there were a lot of women involved in that. And when you walk up Newbury Street, which is where all the studios, all the the galleries used to be, they're no longer there anymore because the rents are $15,000 and up a month. You're walking up Newbury Street, and what you see at the very end of the street is the Fenway Studios. And it's funny, you see, that thing fed this thing, and it was a whole world here, back when all this was happening. It's pretty cool.
Wow.
I've got a question from the crowd, and I think it'll be, up for the taking from anybody. It's off topic, but art related. Kathleen, you might be getting us back on topic.
Good.
Any tips for reconciling lighting from multiple reference photos where the lighting doesn't necessarily match?
Shoot your own.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Try to use a stand-in. Try to get it. Yeah, but definitely.
Learn effective lighting.
John, where do you think you could learn effective lighting?
I'm not sure. I think at the visual art passage.
Yeah.
I think John Foster covers that, and Audrey.
Yeah. Yeah, I highly recommend checking it out. We might cover that a little bit. We'll cover it a lot.
It needs to be its own class too. So
yeah,
something to think about for us.
Lighting is it's tough when you realize. I mean, I had to be told that, taught it like everything that I know. But when you're trying to keep the lighting consistent and everything like that, I mean, I think a lot of, if you're trying to make certain types of imagery that needs to be like at a certain believability, and a realism or a naturalism, I should say. Understanding, the reference process is huge. It's a part of the picture making process in a lot of ways, and depending on the type, like I said, but it all depends on the naturalism and things like that. But exactly like Vanessa was saying, if you're not going to use reference, you better be drawing from life every single waking second, because it's got to feel believable regardless of or not of what you want to do. But then when you're combining individual references, for me, I know, I actually I found a lot of fun in that, because I like shooting my own reference and mocking up things and combining everything in Photoshop and turning it into a comp, and watching John Foster take stuff into ZBrush. That's got me really thinking about rethinking how I produce my reference, yeah, I mean, don't skimp on that, for sure. I don't know. Well, how about everyone else? I mean,
I just think, I agree with you. I mean, you're saying a lot of good stuff. I think, and the two activities support and feed into each other too. If you're constantly drawing and, stepping outside of yourself, observing things, I think, and then you really study, lighting, you really study all those things. It all it all ties in together, and I think they're all facets to a diamond, you know.
Right.
You've got to really focus on really cutting all those facets, you know.
Here is our timer.
Cool.
All right.
Oh, and that looks awesome.
Thank you.
That's great, Don.
Appreciate it. Yeah.
I regret having you come on stream.
You know, we got to do something about him.
Yeah.
I don't know. Leave it to Timmy. See what Timmy does there.
Hey, I'm trying to do technical stuff right now. I can't fend for myself.
We've pretty much yelled Timmy
why I went
down. You
I
know?
know.
I take a shot when I can, you know. Thank you. Well, thanks, David.
You know what's great too, Don, is that if you look at Don's palette, how few colors he has down and what he did with those colors.
Yeah.
You know, it's like basically you got a primary palette, and is that a black?
Well, it's getting close. I was mixing kind of like a phthalo and an ultramarine blue with umber and sometimes a little bit of quinacridone red.
Right.
You know, to get that black. I always try to mix to it. I do have ivory black on here, but I always try to mix to my black, you know.
Yeah, I do the same. I like to do the same thing. It's hard for me to put down something that's just black.
Yeah.
I admire painters that can do it, like Sargent or Phil Hale does it
Yeah.
well. But yes, but like what's on your palette is really just a primary palette, a light and a dark, and everything was mixed from that. And you know, in the shirt you've got like a tan color, and then you've got kind of an umber shadow, and then a yellow in your mid-tone and lights, and it's great. You know, it's just very eloquent.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, I teach essentially a beginning painting class here, and it's one of my favorite classes to teach just because I love teaching the basics of the color wheel, doing, you know, complementary color bands as you mix towards the metal and mixing in, you know, a neutral like an umber. And I have the students use a primary palette, you know, warm and cool of the primaries plus a white and a burned umber. And I love it when they're able to mix colors that they're like, oh, I don't have to go buy that tube.
Exactly.
Right.
You know, it's 8 colors, 8 tubes of paint, you know.
I only have my students buy primaries. I have them buy a warm and a cool.
Yeah, it's been, and it kind of, you know, you have to really look at the different paint manufacturer because sometimes they'll have a funky name.
Yeah.
And you really have to open them up and look, you know, really look, because sometimes they're mislabeled. Like, you know, Liquitex, for example, with the acrylic, the cadmium yellow light is like a cadmium lemon, you know.
Right. Yeah,
and
extremely close to it. Yeah.
What's that blue that you have?
The blue here. Well, see, these are the acrylic gouache, but they've got a primary blue. I've got a French ultramarine, and then, or they call it a primary blue, but I really see this as a phthalo blue, and that is a French or an ultramarine. Yeah. This one here, I gotta be honest, I don't remember, but and I love this little palette. I found this palette. It actually, this is what I laid out last week, and it stayed wet.
It's nice.
Wow.
Super surprised it didn't dry up on me.
So, you know, you guys were talking about light earlier, and I can't remember the photographer who told me this, but they pulled me aside, and I'll probably butcher this because I think I only attained like 20% of the things that I learned from really great photographers. But they basically were like, there are like 7 ways you can manipulate light. And this is an oversimplification, but I think it's a really great way to explain it to somebody who's just starting to try to accomplish a good reference photo that has good lighting. And essentially and this is going to be recorded, so I'm going to go through it. You don't have to write it down right now, but there's diffusion, specularity, color, brightness, contrast, direction, and proximity. All 7 of those things, if you change them, if you change any of those 7 things, it's going to change the way the light will look on your subject. And when it becomes interesting is only, let's see, only a couple of those you can fix after you take the photo. Brightness, contrast, and color. The other ones, if you mess up your direction, if you mess up your proximity, you're not gonna be able to fix that later without some like Elon Musk level technology. You know, so but I don't think we're quite there yet. I'm sure we are with a couple of apps, but it does become really interesting because when you change all of those things, it's a really quick way to change the mood of your photo and to change the mood of because that's a major way in which you can change tone. And so what I would say is like when you are experimenting with photography, those are the first things is just get a single light and play around with those things and figure out like what changes about the light when you change the proximity, the distance from the subject. How does it look differently? The closer it gets to the subject, the softer your light is going to be. For instance, that's just a good example. You know, what is the color temperature of the light that you're using? Is it warm? Is it really cool? And how does that affect the tone? And some of these cross over because diffusion can be done by proximity. Not technically the same effect, the softness of a light can be done by proximity, but you can also diffuse your light by using a filter. And so these things can all kind of interact, and those are whenever I would like light a scene or a shot, I think I'm giving myself credit because, you know, we're looking at these photos by the Wade brothers, and it's, I definitely, they're on a whole nother level, and it feels silly to talk about my experience as a photographer when we're showing their photos. But whenever you look at a photo, one of the things I would recommend is have this list in front of you and ask yourself, like, why are you doing, what is your answer to those 7 questions? Anyways, so a couple people had asked for that list of the 7 variables. So I wanted to elaborate a bit.
Those are great. Those, I mean,
Great to me.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's good stuff.
I would say that at best,
That was a free lighting message.
At best, I probably only ever thought about 4 of them when I did a photo.
Right.
So proximity is interesting, Timmy, because what I see a lot is, you know, especially with zoom lenses, people don't really take the time to get that proper proximity. You know, it's zoom in, zoom out, and then we'll crop if we need it. And you're right, it has so much to do with how the final image actually comes out.
Oh, there's some, like I've seen just like on the Canon 24 to 70 millimeter lens, they show the same exact photo with the same exact lighting, but taken with a different, at a different distance, and what it does to a person's face.
Oh yeah.
It is like, you're like, oh, that's why I hated that photo of myself. You know, like you start to realize like, wow. And it's really subtle. I think it's to a degree that if you show the photos back to back, you're like, okay, this is the same photo, but it really is. There's a couple people tomorrow in the Facebook group, I'll post them. There's a couple people who have done like, basically they're just like lens tests that just show how, like what you're talking about, Dale, is like, it can have such a profound effect on that. What I would say is it's just plainly put, it's just distortion.
Oh, as far as distortion is concerned, this is fantastic. Yeah. I mean, you could probably find a bunch of them, but you know, just animations using different, you know, different lenses.
Oh, so you're referring to lighting. And
well, I was kind of going off what you were talking about with the lighting. Yeah. But as far as the lens distortion is concerned, yeah. I mean, your iPhone, trust me, your iPhone takes horrible photos of you. You know, like every single photo of me, well, I kind of look like
Yeah.
that anyway, but my neck is super skinny. My head is super big. I look like E.T.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah,
Because it's a wide
absolutely.
angle.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that, and somebody did this for me like early on, is I didn't go get a subject or a model that I got like a friend that I got like worked up and nervous about like wasting their time. I just got if you have like a little figurine or like a little statue, I'm sure a lot of you have little drawing models or something like that. If you just set that on a desktop, it's really a great way to experiment with what we're talking about and just see how that happens. Like when you get closer, what changes with the light. And you'll start to, I mean, it really does become easier to understand, because some of it's counterintuitive. You would think, for me at least, if you were to ask me that question, I would think if you got closer, in my head, for whatever reason, I think that light's gonna get harder, but it doesn't.
Right.
I don't know, it's like I can't explain the science of it, but yeah, once you practice it enough, it becomes kind of Pavlovian. You know what's going to happen.
Nice, Timmy. Does it work with Matchbox?
Oh yeah, you're gonna have the
Diecast
best photos, man.
Yeah,
Your collection's gonna look flawless.
good.
That's it, John. That's it.
Yeah,
That's the key.
this is cool. I'm gonna stop by everybody's studio. Raymond, stop by. You've been
nice.
suspiciously quiet.
Oh, it's looking great.
That is
Oh,
awesome.
thanks.
Oh, wow. That's beautiful.
Okay, take him off the list, John.
I'm surprised I haven't been banned yet, just from my banter. So,
Unfortunately, you got a fan base quickly enough that we couldn't control it.
Ooh, nice.
Very
That's
cool,
great.
Vanessa.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Vanessa's like, if you guys just didn't talk so much, you could do this.
I love how much she's able to do with wash. It's great.
This is great. And then we're gonna stop by John. Awesome.
Ooh, nice.
Nice.
Thanks, John.
Printer ready, always.
I'm gonna put that guy on the ban list pretty soon.
Yeah.
I hope those are official Illustration Academy colors, though.
The 2020 palette.
The 2020 palette.
I got them improved before I started drawing.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Bill, awesome.
Oh, I love
Thanks
it.
for sharing.
Thanks.
Nice, Bill.
Good to see you, Bill. Good to see a face, Bill. I don't think we usually only ever see John. John's the only person that frames the camera well enough that Yeah. This is Bill. I bet a lot of people haven't met me yet.
Hey, Bill.
Boo.
My studio.
Very cool.
Cool.
Oh, there's your demo.
There's my demo. Yep. Here's my etching press. A little while ago, one of my cats was actually turning that wheel.
Wow.
She literally reached up with her paw. So I'm going to try to employ that in the process of,
Yeah.
cat labor printmaking.
Well, this is great.
So yeah.
So should we
We should.
begin? Yeah. All right. Cool. I'm gonna protect my desktop. 1 second.
Everybody's drawing is just so good tonight.
Yeah. While I'm doing this, if you're in the audience, post your work, Facebook group or Instagram, and we're gonna check it out.
So I sent you guys on the panel a picture of my paint can, which I'll show you. Which is this thing.
Yeah.
But if you notice in the photo how distorted it is,
Totally.
I mean, it's easily like 1.5 times.
Oh yeah, I'm looking at it
Yeah,
right.
totally.
Right. So it's like it's like 1.5 times as wide on the bottom as it is on the top, but it looks like almost a cylinder.
Right.
So,
Yeah, it's very different. Yeah.
yeah. I started thinking about that when I was scanning my work in. I posted a bunch of work on my website to sell, and I had photos I'd taken with my phone, and I was thinking about how much every photo of everything I've posted on Instagram is distorted.
Yeah.
So,
Crazy.
which kind of blows my mind because you'd think that they would have a better lens.
Hey, the past 3 weeks that I've done this, I've tried to be like very careful to not like show like my Amazon page or something on accident. And every single time it just pops up wherever it wants to. But I got a good feeling about this week. So here we go.
Famous last words.
Yep. Oh, it's pretty close. All right.
Ah, nice.
Cool. Awesome.
Great.
Very nice.
Cool.
Oh, that's nice.
Matthew, thanks for
That's
joining.
great.
We got some passive students here.
Ooh, nice.
Some.
Yeah, it's cool.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, that's a nice one.
This is really cool. Thanks everybody for posting.
Ooh.
Awesome,
Yeah.
Alana. That's so
Cool.
sweet. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's great.
Sweet.
Oh, those are nice.
Huh.
Yeah, that's cool.
Boy.
Nice. Yeah. Oh, Sam. Yeah.
Sam,
One
Sam's,
of my-
Sam's headed to Visual Arts Passage this weekend.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
Really excited to have him.
Sam's terrific. Yeah.
I should actually mention scholarship winner, which is awesome. Well deserved.
Yeah. Nice.
Really fun.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, I love that line.
You know, one of the things that's funny is we're
Oh,
live
that's
streaming.
awesome.
That's
We're
nice.
live. We're live streaming to Facebook, and I never think about this, but when we get to this part, it's got to be so surreal when people go by it because they see us live streaming to Zoom from Facebook.
It's a meta stream.
It's got to be really trippy. It's great. That's cool.
That's great.
Nice little.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, really nice.
Yep.
A little bit of digital paint there.
I totally forgot that I said I was going to do digital painting. Nice one, Doug.
Oh, that is killer.
It
Yeah.
always shows up. Attitude.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I like it.
Oh, it's really
Nice.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So fun.
I better quickly get in there and delete mine.
Oh,
Oh, that's
oh,
nice.
Oh, that's
whoa.
great.
Whoa.
cool.
Yeah.
It reminds me of Jack Levine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, very much.
Nice too.
Yeah.
Damn.
Oh, nice take. Kind of
That's great.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
Doug is a good drawer.
yeah.
Yeah. Steve Hughes.
Nice.
hey,
Steve, your paintings you've been posting are beautiful.
Yeah, man.
really
Yeah.
nice.
Congrats on that solo show.
Yeah.
Nice, Howard. Is that Halston, the piece above? I'm sorry. I missed it.
Oh, sorry.
Go up. No, it's Matthew. Very nice.
Okay.
That's gorgeous.
Right.
Timmy hates Buster Keaton. This kid
Yeah.
doesn't improve.
I gotta figure out how to report this.
The internet has spoken, Timmy.
That's just
That's
not
awesome.
Buster Keaton. I can't believe it.
Yeah, can you believe you're a business partner with me? This is terrible.
All people in the world would expect
Yes.
you to attack.
Yeah. Such a shameful betrayal.
Best physical comedian that ever lived.
Didn't even have all of his fingers, right? If I'm correct.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think he was missing his one
Some
of
of
his
the
fingers or
stuff he did,
something.
I didn't think he had all of his wits. But
Yeah.
God, he did some incredible things.
Yeah.
That's nice. Vanessa, are you still here? She's muted. Yep, I see her.
I'm here. I just muted our roommates.
Oh yeah.
I love this.
Felicity does
awesome.
it again. Age
Felicity's
9.
9.
Age
She's
9.
on her birthday.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Felicity.
Forgot.
Yeah,
Happy
happy
birthday.
late birthday.
Awesome.
Awesome. So great.
Oh, these are so fun.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Nice, Halsted.
Awesome. Addie.
Awesome.
Really good.
Great stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If we had an office, John, we'd have to start framing. We'd have to start, getting these shipped to us. To
Yeah.
if we had walls.
Oh, by the way, Timmy, right
Yeah.
before I came in, I checked out the VR gallery.
Yeah.
If any of you go to the website and check out the gallery. Well, it's not up yet, is it?
It's up. It's up. It's on our Facebook page.
Oh,
If you
cool.
go to it, I'll make sure I
Awesome.
share it to this group. But yeah, go to our Facebook page and check it out. If you want to support the artists who are our students, give it a share because they all put a lot of work into submitting their work and some really awesome stuff. And it's as close as we're going to get to having walls.
That's right. That's what made me think of that.
Yeah.
Our virtual office.
Yeah.
Hey, Chuck, that's nice.
I'm a Felicity fan.
Yeah. She's
That's
great.
really good.
That is super.
I love it. There's been a bird theme. There've been birds in the other ones, I think. That's great.
So cool.
It's John. That's
Messi
fun.
tip following Ray's great tutorial. This is
Ooh,
awesome.
Sienna. Nice drawing.
Oh, that's great.
Whoa.
Yeah, I should have done that, Robert. That's the one I should have done.
Nice, Sherry. Peter. Good job.
Abraham.
Abraham. How are you, Abraham? Nice drawing. Okay, it's another Rex road.
Karen. Yeah.
How many of them are in here?
Ah,
The family affair.
this is great.
Very nice.
Great. Yeah, storytelling.
Stuff. That's fun.
A lot of these people have been drawn with us since the first one, which is funny because we're on the 15th one since I started counting.
Wow.
Wow.
So
Boy, that's very good.
That's really
that's
good.
great.
Kind of Charles Gibson-y there, huh?
Cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
Probably the only one that did that figure.
Yeah, I was going to say good,
Good
Yeah.
call. Good
choice.
Should have
call.
done that. Should have done that one.
Smart.
Great.
That's nice, Chuck.
Yeah, that's great.
Do you think that kid was jumping into water, John? Is there more photos of that, or is that just like a on ground?
Trampoline.
Okay.
There was a ridiculousness episode.
We.
Nice, Alana.
Yeah.
Elena, excuse me.
Oh, did I said Alana too. I'm sorry, Elena.
This one too.
My apologies.
Yeah, that was great.
Very nice.
Nice one, Gary.
Nice.
Thanks for the shout out.
Here's my warm up.
Oh, it's so funny. On the topic of shout outs, I have a friend they were telling me the story that a friend of a friend that their mom does Peloton and they give shout outs during the classes. And it was her 500th class. And she was just like really excited to get a shout out. And she didn't get a shout out.
Oh.
And it's like the next one, like best case scenario, you're looking at 1,000. No, everybody gets a shout out here.
I remember that pose.
I think we're at the end of the.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, that was last week.
Traveling back in time now.
Yep.
It's still good though.
Yeah. Cool. And then I'm gonna pull up Instagram really quick, and we'll see if I can successfully go to the right account and screen share the right thing. All right.
So as the Waves brothers, have they seen the art yet that has been produced?
I've texted. I just texted Lyndon a few screen grabs while we've been doing this. They tuned in last week because Lyndon and Lindsay, their mom, Judy Rush, who is she is a kind of a legendary, not kind of, fully a legendary retoucher of photos. She
Wow.
works commercially, and so they all work out of the same studio. And Judy, she actually retouches a lot of their photography. But I mean, she was like one of the first people to start working digitally in like retouching photography.
Wow.
Her company is called Real Fake, which is also like the best name for a retouching company. But her husband is a artist who draws with us at our figure drawing sessions in Kansas City quite a bit. And so he was tuning in, and they were watching at Judy's house, and they loved it. They, so hopefully we can continue to convince them to hang out with us. And we've got a few things we're trying to cook up that I think will be really fun for the next few weeks. So hopefully we'll be kind of announcing it soon, but yeah.
Awesome.
This is great. Thanks everybody for submitting. This is so cool.
Yeah.
Was that the same one we saw earlier? Is that another person?
I think so.
This is,
Yeah.
that's great.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry guys. I'll catch up.
That's nice.
Oh, wait. I think we got cool.
Very nice.
Oh, thanks, Randy. Chuck.
We like that, Chuck.
Cool.
That's a good one.
Nice.
Nice.
There you go, Nate.
Yeah, good
I
stuff.
keep doing that. Sorry, guys. Just clicks right out.
Go Cope.
Very nice, Bill.
Yeah.
Wow.
Nice.
Who did that?
You want me to go back for that one?
I'm kidding. I know who did it.
Laura, cool.
Good one.
Oh, that's cool.
That's
Yeah.
super cool.
That's scary.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's really good.
Nice, though.
I got
We've come to the end of
I
the.
got Chrome Fiber. It should be going. Google Fiber should be going.
Really like that.
That's really good. Yeah.
That's nice. Yeah.
That's what it was loading the quality.
Yep. Nice job.
Whoa.
Nice.
Yeah, that's cool.
I like that one too.
Yeah. Hey.
Great, Bill.
Hey.
Nice, Bill.
Yeah, really interesting.
That's a good one.
Elena, very nice. That's fun.
Ooh, that's really nice.
Yeah.
Victor's done a lot of nice drawings.
Yeah.
He's posted.
I like that one too.
Very
That's
good.
great.
Man, bunch of good ones.
Mm-hmm.
And so diverse. So many different
Oh
directions.
yeah, totally. Sweet. Lee, awesome. Lee actually had a question. Vanessa, what sketchbook are you using? We'll table that question for next. That's our cliffhanger question for next week.
Gotta tune in.
Yeah, you got to tune in if you want to know.
I think she held it up earlier. I think it was a black.
Now.
Yeah.
Say it again, Vanessa.
Blackwing Palomina. It's popping up in the chat. It looks
she's
like.
making
Oh,
it.
Palomino. Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah, with yeah.
That has the handy dandy pencil holder on the spine.
Yeah, the whatchamacallit.
The thingamabob.
Yeah,
Yeah, that thing.
That's cool.
That's nice.
Nice. It's giving me ideas for next time I do this. If I'm allowed back in.
We're gonna try and back it. We're trying to not get too chummy.
Yeah.
Ray.
Yeah.
You're on the sidelines for a few weeks there, Ray.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
If I go, Don goes, you know?
Oh,
Hey,
We're
but,
pack-
hey, Ray, you noticed tonight you didn't go first.
I didn't. I didn't want to jinx it.
You
And
got
I didn't want.
you got over the rookie thing.
Yeah, that is true.
yeah,
I was afraid that if Bill, complained about going first, then I would automatically
Okay,
go
Ray, you're
first.
up.
And I was ready. Yeah, I was so ready too, John. I had everything ready to go.
Honestly, if you don't want to go first, the best thing to do is you just don't show up until the show's going. A couple people,
Be quiet.
I know, John. The secret's out. I'm pretty sure they figured it out.
that's what I've been doing.
Yeah.
You're
Oh, that's a
bumping
fun one.
over, man.
Yeah, Dale just joins as a audience member, hoping I won't upgrade him.
Dale, if you pop up, we have a Google alert now. For you. If you pop up in the chat.
It's exactly what I used to do in school. Show up late, slip in the back.
That's great.
This is great.
Oh, cool.
Awesome.
Nice.
Cool.
Nice.
Je ne sais quoi. That's a good Instagram handle.
Good.
The pose reminds you of the Rembrandt drawing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The you talking about the self-portrait etching thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. Totally.
Etching, excuse me.
Yeah, I don't even want to tell you when I found out that those were all etchings. Nice.
This is so great. I gotta follow a
Yes.
lot of people. We're not following a lot of these artists. This is a huge mistake on our part. Ink Assassin. I think that, John, I think that this should be the week we do the refrigerator award, where we put we should pick a drawing and put it on it's the best audience drawing. Not the best, what's the better, maybe we need to do this privately, discuss.
No, we don't have to. I think we would all choose the same one. We would all go for Felicity.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, why don't we just call it the Felicity Award?
The Felicity Award, because I was gonna say
Can't get better than that.
we'll choose an image and make it the banner each week.
Right.
Yeah.
We'll call
And I
it.
was like,
We'll call it we'll give it to Felicity the first time, and then it's going to be called Top Felicity.
Yeah, top Felicity.
well, this is great. Hey guys, everybody, thanks for
Yeah, thanks for hanging out, and drawing with
awesome.
us.
Thank you.
Don,
Yeah.
Bill, Ray, Vanessa, Dale, Timmy. Am I missing anybody? I think I got everybody. Anybody that I missed, I'm sorry. And all the everybody drawing with us tonight. Thank you so much. It was great.
Yeah,
And
blast.
last thing, Timmy, reminder, you can't forget.
Sign up.
Yeah, we start.
Seriously, you gotta sign up. Yeah. It's like this, but on steroids.
Yeah.
It really is. And
You learn something.
yeah, and one of the things I'd say is you know, and anybody on the panel can chime in on this, but you know, if you want this to be your career, don't put it off.
Absolutely.
Don't put, like, you know, every year you say, well, it's going to be my goal next year. It's another year you don't get to do what you love. And we understand it requires it does require sacrifice and time and commitment and things like that. But really, we can't recommend enough. You know, this panel, it's full of people who really, they gave it their all out the gate. And so,
Don't wait.
Yeah.
Do what you want to do.
don't wait.
Invest in yourself.
Yeah. It's a real investment.
Yeah, and that's something I would say for if you're considering anything. But one of the things that John and I really feel confidently about is this is you're going to get access to a true mentorship, and so please consider it. Our classes start on Saturday, and if you just go to our website, visualartspassage.com, you can learn more. Other than that, guys, thanks so much.
Thank you, everybody.
Everybody on the panel, you guys are amazing for coming here every week.
Thank you.
Everybody, thank you. Really
Thank you,
appreciate it.
everyone. I had a
Thanks,
blast.
Good to see you guys.
Always
Thanks
fun.
for putting up for me.
See you guys.
Oh, well, we'll see you, Ray. Don't. No. Thank you. All right. Have a nice night.
Take care, everyone.
Bye.